Slinkies move like a podcast. It's Harmless Phosphorescence. Hello, everyone. This is Thoreau Smiley. I'm kind of fat, but I've got a cute face, and I am joined by...
I'm Josh Cece, and without a weave, I'm a 6.
I'm Brian Lesh, and if I want to be a hero, I'll remember.
I'm Alec Weber. I ain't crossing no street.
This is Harmless Phosphorescence. It's a podcast where we watch every single theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie, whether we like it or not. We gather some research into production and the source material, and then we tell you about it. This week, we are watching Meteor Man.
He's come to save the world, one neighborhood at a time. Meteor Man. Sorry, Mike. Robert Townsend, Marla Gibbs, Eddie Griffin, Robert Guillaume, James Earl Jones, Bill Cosby, and another bad creation. Special appearances by Luther Vandross, Sinbad, Naughty by Nature, Cypress Hill, and Big Daddy Kane.
Stay chilly, peace them out. Chilly.
Robert Townsend is
Have a good night, folks.
Meteor Man, directed by Robert Townsend.
Get meteorized. That's what the trailer said. Woo, Meteor Man, the Meteor Man. Let us not forget.
He called it just Meteor Man in the trailers just now.
He
didn't throw in the.
He didn't throw in the, but it is specifically
look it up.
the Meteor Man on everything I can see.
At the end of the credits, at the end of the titles, when they put the date it was made and the title again.
Yeah.
It's The Meteor.
The Meteor Man. Weird. Okay, released August 6th.
Weird thing for us to dwell on.
Right?
No,
Because it's weird.
it's
not
reasonable, though.
It's not... Well, I guess we do have the Batman coming, but it's not the Superman,
right.
the Captain America.
Well, and like Brian said, oh, never mind. Is he the Meteor Man?
Yeah, there are a couple of them.
There's a few Meteor Men, yeah. What?
In fact, ones that save him. So therefore,
There's at least one Meteor Man
food
who
chain kinda way.
who cannot be trusted with superpowers.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah. So released August 6th, 1993. Running time of 144 minutes. A budget of $30 million. Box office, it took in $8 million.
144 minutes.
This was a solid bust at the money-wise.
Yeah.
And once again, we are playing What Opened That Week, the top 10.
Oh, yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. So, first off, where do you guys think Meteor Man landed the week it opened?
10.
Which was what week?
Which was the week...
Or what month?
the week of August 6th, 1993.
All right, end of summer blockbuster. Rare. I say 8.
I'm going to go with a relatively strong showing of 4.
Ooh, bold.
Well, we have...
What was yours, Brian? 6?
10.
Oh, 10. Yeah, that's...
For the week of August 6th, 1993, Meteor Man opened at number 12.
Oh, it did not make
That's
the
not
list.
even one of the numbers.
It was beat out number 11. We had Sleepless in Seattle. And then finally hitting the top 10, we've got Robin Hood Men in Tights, The Firm, the Grisham verse, Jurassic Park at number 8, still hanging in there from like 6 months earlier, Cliffhanger, Sly Stallone joint, Free Willy, In the Line of Fire, the re-release of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs at number 4.
That is rough.
Yeah, Pauly Shore's Son-in-Law at number 3. Rising Sun at number 2. I think, was that Wesley Snipes?
Yeah, it was.
And
I think.
opening up against Meteor Man in his first week, number 1, The Fugitive.
Ooh.
Oh,
Wow.
A lot of those movies, how do you compete with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were just blockbusters. Free Willy did insanely well.
The Fugitive, Free Willy, Jurassic Park, Sleepless in Seattle. Those
Right,
were
right.
all a huge.
Huge.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, nobody's moms. I don't remember moms talking about Meteor Man compared to Sleepless in Seattle.
Right. I love the part where Meteor Man meets Meg Ryan at the top of the Empire State Building.
She drains his powers. Like she's wont to do.
she drains many
The
men's
Fugitive
powers.
was insane. It's such a great movie, but it is remarkable how children of all ages enjoyed The Fugitive.
No, it really is because it's like such a.
I was young.
I watched that
I
movie.
mean, I wasn't
as a
young, 93, but yeah.
It's such a dad movie, but I loved it.
Right,
When-
exactly.
yeah.
It's based on a 1950s, show.
Yeah, is it the first like TV like adaptation from a TV movie that was actually like any good?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I mean, I guess maybe.
I heard Demolition Man was just the Andy Griffith show. They reworked.
I was gonna say maybe what's it called? Naked Gun. That was from Police
that was
Squad.
a show, yeah.
All right, so Meteor Man, written, directed, and starring Robert Townsend.
Anybody get a Room vibe from that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, now that you
This was
mention it.
one man's vision
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, and he was sort of considered an auteur. Maybe that sounds too frou-frou, but he was
he
popular.
was. Yeah.
Okay, so like to compare him with a contemporary, like sort of a Tyler Perry type thing, he wrote and directed shit.
He was kind of a proto Tyler Perry, absolutely.
Yeah.
If he had made 12 of these, I bet you number 10 or 11 would have been a lot better than number 1. Unlike other people, like we've watched the Toxic Avenger movies, which do not have an arc. They are just kind of like a shot in the dark as whether they're better or worse than the one before
And
it.
they
Yeah.
wouldn't be improved by anyone trying harder.
I could,
Like
I
you're
could
saying,
see
right?
having all of this star power or potential star power because a lot of these people weren't famous yet. Like being successful had he made more movies in this vein.
I can understand how people thought they were making an important movie.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, and
with
in
all
a-
the representation.
And in a way, it is. It
Cameos.
is
Yeah.
the first movie to have any representation of any sort like this.
Yeah.
In some ways, it was strangely groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that it is terrible.
Yeah. I mean, and a lot of these superhero movies that we watch are really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, a lot
So-
of these are very bad movies.
It's in good company.
Right.
Yeah.
It took like almost 40 years till they figured it out, as we've
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, yeah, we had
a superhero movie.
we had a couple high points, but I mean, even those. So Townsend started his career by auditioning for Saturday Night Live's 1980-81 cast, but he was rejected in favor of Eddie Murphy because they could only have one black guy.
Yeah.
That sucks. He's got a real like Cleavon Little vibe, like real like dry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Plays everything straight.
Intellectual.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, him and Eddie Murphy would have it could not be two different comics.
Yeah.
Townsend appeared as one of the main characters in the PBS series Another Page, a program produced by the Kentucky Educational Television that taught literacy to adults.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that has been defunded.
Yeah, thanks. Townsend later appeared in A Soldier's Story in 1984, Mighty Quinn in 89 with Denzel Washington. In 87, he wrote, directed, and produced Hollywood Shuffle.
That's a pretty good movie.
That was his big breakthrough. And it wasn't bad.
Right, it was sort of a swingers type,
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, very
commentary on living in LA.
told from African American actors' point of view.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. This helped him establish himself in the industry. Then later on, he did the 5 Heartbeats, which was kind of a 1960s R&B group.
Oh, yeah.
thing.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That was big.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
That did pretty well.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen
His he was in that as an actor. His character was Duck.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, that got a lot of play on like VH1.
I don't have the sound queued up, Al.
No, that's
I wasn't
just
ready
found-
for a duck fact.
I just found it right now.
Well, you should get it queued up because there is an actual organic duck.
Well, damn it! All right.
Well, not organic. It's a script, but
But a real duck, not a robot duck.
right.
Not one of those animatronics.
He
Prosthetic duck.
yeah.
Prosthetic duck.
Prosthetic duck.
So I just,
It's my new band name.
Prosthetic duck.
it's a prescription duck.
He went on to produce and star in The Parenthood, which was
Wait.
The Parenthood.
The Parenthood.
We get stuck on this again.
Parenthood the other night.
Yeah, The Parenthood, which did not have a duck. For WB, which ran for 5 years in the late 90s.
The Parenthood.
The Parenthood.
Yeah.
Oh, clever.
See, yeah.
Yeah.
Wordplay.
That was part of that, like the late 90s African American
Family
sitcom.
Matters, Rock.
Yeah.
Which members of both of those casts were in this? Yeah.
Yeah, there was a member. Also starring Marla Gibbs.
Yes. Love Marla Gibbs.
Yeah.
I still remember the commercial for 227 where they'd like it was like a jazz beat and it was like 227 is the place to be with Marla Gibbs and her family.
I loved that show. I probably saw every episode.
Yeah, with Jack Hay.
And this might have been the same set.
It looked really similar.
Well, especially when they're hanging out the window, that's where the older, I can't remember the character's name, but of course she was the funniest, sort of like Sophia on the Golden Girl.
Oh yeah. Oh,
But hanging out the
window,
window, leaning on the windowsill. Looked like the same building.
Yeah, it did. Marla Gibbs, of course, got her start as on the Jeffersons, playing Florence, playing the maid. And then she actually starred in the Jeffersons spinoff, Checking In.
Is that at a hotel?
Yes. Okay, so
Like a Golden Palace?
Yes. So she ran the cleaning staff at the hotel.
Okay.
This lasted 3 episodes before it got canceled.
3. Did George own the hotel?
No. It was unrelated. She had to leave, so she ran the staff, and then it got canceled. So she went back to the Jeffersons, and on the Jeffersons, they explained it as the hotel burned down.
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh man.
I love that.
By some of George Jefferson's henchmen.
Yeah, like we got to get Florence back.
Even though we hate each other.
Eddie Griffin starred as Michael Anderson, Jefferson's best friend.
I gotta say, he did a really good job.
Yeah, he was great.
He was acting.
It's fun.
Seemed to be doing better than Robert Townsend.
Oh yeah. We've seen Eddie Griffin in the 1995 movie The Walking Dead. I have not seen him in that, but he apparently was in it. Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo,
Yeah.
Double Take, Undercover Brother,
Oh, yeah.
John Q, Scary Movie 3, Deuce Bigelow, European Gigolo, and Norbit.
He was a co-star with Malcolm Jamal Warner in Malcolm and Eddie.
That's what I was getting to. Another one of those late 90s black sitcoms that was so popular on WB and UPN.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was ranked number 62 on Comedy Central's list of the 100 greatest stand-ups of all time.
Yeah, he's cool. Great.
He's a funny
got
guy.
some great
Yeah,
stand-up.
he's a funny guy.
Robert Guillaume starred as Jefferson's dad, Ted Reed. Mr. Guillaume, born 1927, passed away in 2017.
Yeah.
Best known as Benson.
A butler.
Yes, a butler. Yeah.
That's interesting. So a maid and a butler.
A maid and a butler. Yeah. I mean, that's very mid-20th century.
Well, yeah, the first African American to win an Oscar was what? Hattie McDaniels playing a maid in Gone with the Wind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She played Ray Charles. That's another way that they'll hand out
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah.
biopics and slave.
Biopics, slaves, and domestic help.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The help.
Yeah, literally the help.
The Butler.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Fuck
yeah.
you, Hollywood.
Seriously.
Jesus.
Well, Green Book was the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Ugh, Green Book with the bravest movie of 1993.
Yeah.
So I had forgotten that he was a butler on Benson. So
Well-
I just looked it up. So it's
On Soap.
On Soap, he was a butler. Then on
okay.
Benson, he was the head of the domestic staff for the governor's
For the
mansion.
governor's mansion,
yeah, he was,
I know my Benson, man.
So he wasn't butling any.
he was the director of household affairs
yeah.
for the governor.
And Krause was
And-
his nemesis.
Yep.
And then the state's budget director, then the lieutenant governor, and candidate for the executive.
And then Ice Princess.
Well, no. And what happened was like, okay, so the final season ended in a cliffhanger because he ran against his friend who was the current governor, but he disagreed on some matters. So he ran against him, and they were under the impression they were going to come back for another season, but they got canceled, and so the series ends on a cliffhanger.
Oh, that's so terrible.
Yeah.
But also kind of awesome.
Just
And
did his job as a governor.
We've got two members of the Star Trek universe in Benson, Renee Auberjonois, who will go on to play.
He just died recently.
Yeah,
Odo.
Odo on Deep Space Nine, and then what's that little guy's name who'd be the doctor on Voyager?
Oh, the bald headed guy?
Yeah,
He was in this?
he was in Benson.
Oh, in Benson.
We're talking about Benson.
Meteor Man.
This is a Benson podcast now.
Like we started.
Yeah, I know who you mean, though. The
Right,
doctor.
we're back to Benson.
Ethan Phillips.
That's right.
Yeah, editor's note, see our first episode.
Right. Because not many people have.
I
went back.
I don't think anyone's seen our first episode.
No, we buried it
I mean, technically
at the
speaking,
base of an
we
oil
did.
well.
We buried it.
Again, editor's note, see our first episode.
Yeah. So, and by the way, his name in the show was Benson Dubois.
Yeah.
Robert Guillaume also won a Grammy in 1995 for his spoken word performance of The Lion King, which he played
Oh, Rafiki.
Rafiki in The Lion King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got James Earl Jones as Ernest.
Boy, do we.
Do we ever have James Earl Jones? Oh my God! I was watching '80s movie trailers with Jude the other night, and we watched what was the one with oh my God, what was it called? Where the kid had to go into blackface to get into college.
Soul Man.
Soul Man. James Earl Jones was in that.
Thomas Howell.
It was C. Thomas Howell. Yeah, as Soul Man. That's a rough movie, man.
Really?
Holy fuck.
That was a thing.
Yeah.
You haven't heard of Soul Man?
No.
Oh my God. When we're done with this, I have to show you the trailer.
Talk about
it's
cringy.
insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's bad. James Earl Jones. We've talked about him before on Harmless Midichlorians, our patron-only podcast, which you can listen to, where we watch every Star Wars movie. We're almost through them all. We got a couple more to go.
So this man played the ultimate villain of all time in fiction.
Yes. What? Yeah. The villain who is probably the most well-known villain ever.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But he got his start in Dr. Strangelove. That was his first film appearance.
Yeah, that's right.
He was in The Great White Hope as Jack Jefferson in 1970. He's then went on to be Darth Vader.
He was in Roots.
He played Malcolm X in 1972.
Really?
Yeah.
He's a little thinner.
Yeah. I suppose so. He was in Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, he was.
The Lost City of Gold. Where Alan Quartermain in The Lost City of Gold.
Oh, Alan Quartermain. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
He was in Field of Dreams. He was in the Jack Ryan movies, Hunt for Red October, Patriot Games, Clear and Present
that's
Danger.
right.
With Han Solo.
Yeah, with Harrison Ford.
With Harrison
yeah.
Ford. The Hunt for Red October.
Oh,
That was Alec Baldwin.
He was with Alec Baldwin. That's
Then
right.
Harrison
and
Ford.
Then weird. I
Matt,
forgot that.
Ben
there was a
Affleck.
time when Alec Baldwin and Harrison Ford were up for the same roles.
Yeah.
Well,
Weird.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin, what happened to you?
And then we've
carbs.
Yeah, carbs.
got Mufasa in The Lion King. We got Mufasa and Rafiki here.
Whoa. This is as if there was a small pool of African American
Right.
and they felt some sort of pressure.
Oh, God. We have William Henry Cosby Jr. as Marvin, the mute vagrant. I am only going to read Wikipedia's opening entry. William Henry Cosby Jr. is an American stand-up comedian, actor, musician, author, and convicted sex offender.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's where we're at.
He has
That
no
is
lines
correct.
in the movie.
No lines, and
Lots
if you don't
of
know,
silly faces.
if you don't know who Bill Cosby is,
Just
That's
good. That's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
You
can-
don't need to
you can
know
Google
that.
it.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
He's not a historical figure. You
No.
can go through your life not knowing.
right?
He did have
What a piece of shit.
He did have a few lines in dog language.
Oh, that's right. He barked.
Moving on.
We've got another bad creation as the Junior Lord.
ABC, BBD, the
East Coast family. Motown Philly's back again. No, wait.
No,
that was,
Aisha was another bad
Aisha.
creation. And the lyrics to
And-
that are bonkers,
and-
hilarious.
and-
Eating Cheerios.
And cooling at the playground.
Yeah.
Were they like 5?
They were they weren't the baby lords. They were the junior lords. They were
Okay.
like the
Yeah,
10-year-olds.
Squirrel and whatever the other,
So
they
Squirrel,
got guns. They had guns.
Yes. They consist of Rommel, Roro Chapman, Chris Sellers, David Shelton, and Demetrius and Marlis Pugh.
That's a lot. I had no idea there were that many.
Yeah, there were 5 of them.
Another bad creation.
Oh, yeah. We've got Roy Fegan as Simon Kane, the leader of the Golden Lords. He has worked on like every Robert Townsend movie. And I'm going to get you,
familiar.
sucker.
Yeah.
He's been on The Shield, Will and Grace, The Jamie Foxx Show, Matlock, Touched by an Angel, Martin, Married with Children, and Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
wow. I've watched all of those shows.
Right. Frank Gorshin played Anthony
Okay.
Byers.
How bad? I didn't know he was the bad guy, and then I saw him, and I'm like, that looks exactly like Frank Gorshin. Yeah, that's so badass.
Yeah.
Riddle
Yeah.
me this. How
Hell
did
yeah.
I get in this movie?
Well, and he had a real Stan Lee vibe going on, I thought.
Yeah, his look.
Yeah.
He reminded. Do you guys know who Jadena is? Just Jadena is this awesome rapper who has like African heritage and is like a chief somewhere. But yeah, just like this style and everything. I was like, damn, he looks like someone who was cool in 2018. Like the look,
Right.
It was really
Yeah.
cool.
Huh. Frank Gorshin.
Yeah.
He actually got his start doing impressions on the Ed Sullivan Show. He appeared the same night as the Beatles in 1964.
That is wacko.
Yeah.
Oh, Gorshin, I'm thinking
Because
of the other
again,
guy.
this movie, it turned out to you what? What was that?
I was thinking of the other guy. Never
Oh,
mind.
okay.
Not Gorshin.
Frank Gorshin played the Riddler on Batman the TV series.
That
And
that's why I was
he's-
like, wait.
He's Mr. Byers.
Yeah.
Because, and rightfully so, the villain needs to be an old rich white guy.
Absolutely.
Again, rightfully
I was
so.
thinking of the
I'm totally on board with that.
One tier below villain.
The
Jadena
Luther
looks nothing like.
He was the chairman. Like,
Luther Vandross as Jameson.
No, not Luther Vandross. He was just looming like Darth Vader the entire time in this
He
movie.
was
Yeah,
a
did he
It
even
was-
have any lines?
I don't think so.
know. A lot of people,
Which was a shame.
did not get lines.
Because it would have been cool.
Because he's got a hell of a voice. You'd think
Yeah.
he'd say something.
He just looks so cool the whole
You
time.
have to pay someone more.
Oh, yeah.
they speak.
If I say anything, you're going to have to buy 25,000 copies of my album.
No, but SAG rules. I mean, that's how you get in the Actors Guild. You could appear in 10 movies, but if you don't say a word, you
Yeah.
can't be in the
Yeah.
guild.
Yeah.
That's why I always whisper whenever I'm on film.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whisper, whisper, whisper. I do that in the show too. You can hear me in the background. I've been doing it the whole time.
Like in Pee Wee's Big Adventure when he's pretending to be the nun. And she's like, starting a paper out. That's great. I'll start right now.
So Luther Vandross started out as a backup vocalist for Todd Rundgren, Judy Collins, Shaka Khan, Bette Midler, Diana Ross, David Bowie, Benny King. I didn't know Luther Vandross was back
Bowie.
up on some Bowie songs. I
Yeah,
had no idea.
A lot of Bowie.
Donna Summer, not Donnie
Donna, her younger brother.
And then, of course, his album "The Glow of Love," released in 1980, gold certified.
Yep, some babies were made to Luther
Oh
Vandross.
yeah, hit songs include "Never Too Much," "Here and Now." I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
that was great,
apologize.
Throw.
I apologize for that. "The Power of Love," "I Can Make It Better," "For You to Love." We got Sinbad as Malik.
Sinbad.
Mr. Bad.
He has
Well,
some of the
first name
funnier
Sid.
lines.
What was his name in this movie? Because it wasn't just
Malik.
He
Bernard.
introduced Bernard.
His real name was
Oh, his
Bernard.
real name was
Hey
Bernard.
man, my real
That's
name is
right.
Bernard, but I'm just into this
Yeah, yeah,
African,
his jokes.
liberation thing. Like, holy crap!
Yes. Okay, so Sinbad started out on Star Search.
Really?
Brian, do you remember
I
Star
remember
Search?
Star Search,
Okay, I
yeah.
didn't know if that was
That's-
because I was a kid.
I remember seeing it end as
Yeah.
a kid.
Didn't Norm Macdonald host the newest incarnation?
I don't know,
but anyway.
maybe.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ed
so-
McMahon.
So yeah, hosted by Ed McMahon. It was a talent show. Sinbad went up worked his way up because so you had to like defeat other people in whatever talent you had, and then you worked up and you became the champion for the year.
It's America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
It was the same
Exactly.
same structure.
Exactly. And Sinbad in the championship went up against Dennis Miller from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And beat him. Sinbad won.
Yeah.
Good for Sinbad.
Yeah, because Dennis Miller. Fuck
Dennis
that guy.
Miller sucks.
Well, he's turned into a crackpot, but he was only funny for a little time.
He
You
was
know what I
only
mean?
he was only funny when he was at the news anchor desk on Saturday Night Live.
Well, his stand-up was pretty big at that time because he was commenting on politics. But what's hilarious is he has flipped his whole attitude.
His
now.
politics suck.
Oh yeah, he was.
The Republicans were the butt of his jokes.
Mhm.
But he was all references. There was no way he could last.
No. So Sinbad went on to be on the Red Fox show, which got canceled. But luckily for Sinbad, another guy who was in this movie was starting a spinoff of his own show called A Different World. Mm-hmm. He starred in that for a number of years. He went on to be in Necessary Roughness, House Guest, First Kid, Jingle All the Way, and Good Burger.
I like Sinbad.
Yeah,
he's a funny guy.
Sinbad's all right.
I've seen Sinbad so many times at the NAMM show in Anaheim. It's so funny. I saw him again this year. I saw him.
He was back this year?
With Quincy Jones.
Oh, wow, nice.
It's like, oh, it's Sinbad and Quincy Jones.
It's weird he shows up every year.
He's there every year, man. He's got some friends there or lives nearby or just hits the show every year. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Lest we forget that Sinbad starred as Shazam, the genie.
Yeah.
That's right.
Is that a superhero movie? Does that count?
No, he did not do that.
That exists, right?
That's a Mandela effect.
Yeah, that's not a real thing.
I have that
Kazam
movie.
with
No,
Shaq.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, we've all seen the image, right?
No,
I can
envision it.
The lower half of his body's like a tornado, kind of like.
I can envision it.
Yeah.
Is he wearing a fez, possibly?
I think so. We all have the same. Yeah,
I swear that existed at one point in history.
we all do. But we've never met anyone who saw it.
Bernstein.
Yeah. The Matrix is real, folks.
That's
Birds are not real.
Bernstein is what either what is whispered at the end of Citizen Kane or
Prince of Tides.
Prince of Tides.
It's Lowenstein.
That's what the case in Pulp Fiction is, just full of Bernstein books.
That's a Bernstein.
All that gold foil on the edge.
So-
the binding.
We've got Naughty by Nature as the Bloods and Cypress Hill as the Crips.
Which is equal parts amazing and equal parts so ham-fisted and terrible.
It's going to be the biggest question of the movie when we finally get there.
Right.
I think. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, for sure. And like it's crazy. He chose real gangs that actually existed and were like a big thing in 1993.
Who would have been pretty offended by the treaty.
Yeah, I have to wonder, were real Bloods and Crips are like Naughty by Nature? Cypress Hill.
I'm gonna shoot those dudes.
Who is this old man in tights writing and directing and producing this film and starring in it?
In case you, right.
Yeah.
In case you don't know, Naughty by Nature's big hits were OPP.
OPP.
You know me.
Yeah, you know me.
And Hip Hop Hooray. Cypress Hill's biggest hits were Insane in the Brain and I Love You, Mary Jane. And they were on the Judgment Night soundtrack with Pearl Jam.
They were on The Simpsons.
Oh yeah.
Did anybody order an orchestra? Possibly stowed. But so what is? Speaking of Mandela, what does OPP stand for?
Oh,
Other people's
pussy.
Yeah, or possibly if you listen to the
Or
lyrics,
private.
it could also stand for other people's penis.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah, of course.
Okay.
In the lyrics, because there's a verse in the lyrics where they talk about for the ladies it means something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like the woo tier it is.
It's something
response.
I call it the weenus is what he says in the lyrics.
I was just
Well,
curious
that's a
to see
little
if
more
anybody.
specific.
I just was wondered if anyone had a left field explanation.
Other people's
Prenuptial agreements.
other people's Pearl Jam.
Oppositional,
want prenup.
prepositional phrases.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Preposition.
Oh, I just looked up because I remembered in 1992 there was the Watts Truce, a peace agreement among the rival street gangs, the Bloods and the Crips.
Wow.
Just a year before this movie.
How long did that
brokered
last?
by Meteor Man, Robert Townsend in person.
Or Robert Duvall and Sean Penn in colors.
Oh God.
Colors.
Jesus, yeah.
Oh my God. Yes.
A Nightmare
Yeah,
Walk.
well,
Wait.
Psychopath
College,
talking.
was Dennis Hopper involved?
No, is that Falling Down?
Oh
Yeah.
no, it's not Falling
like-
Down. There's a Dennis Hopper movie where he's like a cop or something. It has something to do with gangs from the early '90s. All
He's
right.
played a cop.
I just want to say we're giving Robert Townsend a lot of shit for the save the hood, bring truces to gangs kind of thing. But white people were making these movies like hand over fist,
Oh,
like just
yeah.
by
About
the
how
dozen.
evil.
And
Yeah,
like
the
we can
truth is-
unite the gangs and bring peace to the
And
hood.
the
like,
truce isn't the problem in
Yeah.
the story. The problem is how that truce ends up tying the story up
Yeah.
completely.
Well,
and it was a superhero movie for 140 minutes.
I feel-
And then 4 minutes later, the gangs solve everything.
Well, okay, wait. I feel the problem isn't the fact that there's a truce between the Bloods and the Crips. It's the fact that the truce gets brokered. The Bloods and the Crips are already friends.
Yeah, that's
They're-
true.
they were friends
the
earlier
cops
in the
shoot up.
movie. Yeah. And-
I think the moral of the story ends up being street gangs are good.
well, and also just to go into this, but that the street gangs represent the people.
Right.
Yeah.
That was not great, and that's
No.
Robert Townsend just kind of like.
No,
What? Why not the old lady the old lady and James Earl Jones? They should all be out in the
Right.
street
Yeah, there's-
with Cypress
It's like
Hill
he had
and Naughty
these
by
heavy
Nature.
themes and then gave up on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
He just leaned really heavy into some stuff that just doesn't age as well.
There's a lot of mixed messages
Yeah.
going on here,
Yes.
and it's hard for us as a bunch of white guys who were not who were not part of the community in the early '90s, much less
Seriously.
now, which it was a very different time then.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I only mean from a storytelling point of view.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
totally. From a and
How do you watch a superhero for an entire movie and then a bunch of dudes with AKs
Show up
in the
Yeah.
day, save the day?
Right. Well, yeah, and like this drug kingpin isn't going to come back later with more AKs. Good
Right.
Good thing the police finally show up.
yeah, this whole
Save
thing has
the
been
day.
escalating the whole time.
Local Washington PD is going to take down this international cartel.
Which also it was DC for about 45 seconds.
Right.
And then just insert.
Well, just imagine if you watched a
neighborhood,
Superman
neighborhood
movie
anywhere.
and you watched Superman be Superman for 3 acts, and then all of a sudden somebody saves Superman and the movie's like over, waving by,
Yeah.
freeze frame.
All right. We got Big Daddy Kane as Pirate of the Golden Lord. Pirate of the Golden Lord.
That's a fun sentence.
It's kind of George Lucasy though in naming all of these characters.
Yeah, his
Oh God, yeah.
his made up gang, the Golden Lords. Yeah,
I would
That's
watch.
fantastic.
I would watch another one of these movies if they made one.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I would too. Probably.
For sure. Big Daddy Kane, award-winning American rapper. It started in the Juice Crew. His song "Ain't No Half Steppin'" is considered one of the greatest hip hop songs of all time.
Yep.
Don Cheadle as Goldilocks.
Yeah.
A young Donnie Cheadle in there, man.
Doing a great job.
Yeah.
I don't think he's aged a day.
No.
no.
Wow.
I think he's gotten taller
Got
though.
that, Morgan.
Like seriously, he must have been so young when they made this movie.
Oh God, yeah. He was probably in his 20s, early 20s.
Well, but there are a lot of shots where it's not exactly a crane. It's almost as if somebody was at the top of the steps and the actors were down
Oh,
here.
yeah, yeah,
But there's
yeah.
a lot of those
Yeah.
shots. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're on the
Not
back of a
very
truck.
high, not bird's
Yeah.
eye, but yeah, just sort of
Yeah,
shot from
looking down
the
at them.
top of people's heads.
For sure. Cheadle, of course, will go on to be in Boogie Nights, Out of Sight, Traffic, the Oceans Trilogy. He got nominated for an Academy Award for Hotel Rwanda. And we will meet him again, not in Iron Man 1,
No, no.
but Iron Man 2, and many other MCU movies as a war machine.
So Don Cheadle was born in
Rose.
1964.
What?
So in this movie, he was 29,
Holy crap.
28, 29.
Whoa!
Wow.
He's so
Quite
much
a bit
older than I
older
thought he
now.
was.
Yeah.
Wow. Nancy Wilson as Principal Laws. Was an American singer. She had her some hit singles in the 60s. You Don't Know How Glad I Am, and Guess Who I Saw Today. Tiny Lister as Digit.
Tiny Debo.
Ooh, doing his thing that he does.
Devo, man.
Yeah.
Stole his bike.
He was Zeus in No Holds Barred.
Oh my God, No Holds Barred.
Yeah, that movie.
That was written by Vince McMahon.
That movie is incredibly insane.
Yeah.
He was in Universal Soldier, Friday. Played Debo in Friday.
Hell yeah, he did.
Thin Line Between Love and Hate, Barbed Wire, Fifth Element as the president.
Yeah,
right.
the president. I love that.
Yeah.
Jackie Brown, Judgment Day. Next Friday, The Wash, Austin Powers Gold Member, Dracula 3000,
that
my baby.
movie.
Oh, he's in The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Super Capers. I don't know what that is. I hope it's not a superhero movie because we might have
it's
it.
just about making pizzas.
I'm gonna have to look that up later. Oh,
I was
and
thinking a Lox Bagel, man.
Right, yeah, that's even better.
and Zootopia.
Ooh.
Oh, and the Human Centipede 3.
He is in the
three.
third one?
Yes, not the
I
first
hope
two.
he's not a part of the Centipede. That's
Oh.
gonna be hard to.
Turns out
it's like doing
he's been the
plumbing.
villain
Like
the
every
whole
adapter
time.
I find is too small for. Oh, the Centipede!
no.
Like, why'd you put Tiny Lister in the middle?
He's metric.
Oh.
Wallace Shawn as Mr. Little.
Yep, Wallace Shawn.
Mr. Inconceivable himself. That's if you
Or-
don't know who Wallace Shawn is, inconceivable.
Well,
now
he-
you do.
He got famous for a particular movie, but after he's been in this, that movie should have been called My Dinner with Dre.
Right. He was in Manhattan, all that jazz, and My Dinner with Andre.
Yep. One
Um,
of the weirdest movies of all time.
yeah, very weird. Have you seen the Community, My Dinner
Oh,
with Andre
yes,
episode?
yeah.
That's incredible.
Pulp Fiction /
Oh God, Princess Bride. His 90s stuff. We've got We're No Angels, Canadian Bacon, a Goofy movie, Clueless. He plays Rex in Toy Story.
Yeah.
House Arrest, Vegas Vacation. He's in a ton of stuff.
Oh, he's great.
He's
in Vegas
everywhere.
Vacation.
Yeah,
I like that movie.
I haven't seen it since it was new.
It holds up.
We got Faison Love as Maurice.
Yeah.
Don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the
the
hood.
hood, yep.
He was in Friday, Baps, Torque, Elf, The Replacements, Couples Retreat. He was also in The Parenthood. Got
He was
Bismarck.
funny in Couples Retreat. He's another guy that has been around a lot longer than I thought.
Yeah. We got Bismarcky.
Yeah.
Played himself.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Best known.
It's just a friend.
Yeah. Oh, baby, you. John.
Actually, famous for being a badass beatboxer.
Oh,
That's really
yeah,
how
no.
Bismarcky
Yeah.
got
Dude,
his.
yeah.
Those,
He's still out doing it too, man.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, most of these guys are.
Yeah.
On IMDb,
don't
he's
get to retire.
he's credited as himself, but I believe in the actual credits when I watched, it was not Bismarcky as Bismarcky.
He
Oh,
was
really?
President Gerald Ford.
Yeah.
What was he credited as in the movie? Because I didn't.
Some random title like drug. He was in the room with all the
Unnamed.
but he didn't have a name. It was just like I don't know, drug
He does
manufacturer.
have a
I
name.
don't know.
Say his name. His name was Robert Paulson.
John Witherspoon as Clarence James Carter III.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
who did you
Backstory
say?
there.
Witherspoon?
Yeah.
From Friday, right?
Yeah.
That guy, the older guy?
Yeah, exactly.
Who's only in that one scene in this?
Who pretends to be
The flying guy?
The Flying Man
Yeah.
on TV.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
He's a hilarious actor.
the guy that wants
Yeah.
to poop in Friday.
Yeah. Well, just, constantly in Ice Cube's face.
Yeah. He was in Hollywood Shuffle, Boomerang, 5 Heartbeats, Vampire in Brooklyn. Oh my God, I forgot about that movie.
Is that a superhero?
The Wayans Brothers show, Tracy Morgan show. He was in Barnaby Jones. Wow. The Boondocks.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Is he grandpa?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I was like, I heard his voice and I was like, I recognize his voice from something and it's driving me nuts. That's what it was.
And that kind of rounds out our cast. This movie got 29% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it was reviewed by Siskel and Ebert. Here we go.
I know the Meteor Man wasn't made for me, but that's always true with kids' films, and yet I've liked some of them this year, like Rookie of the Year. But that's not the case with the Meteor Man. I didn't find him all that special or that funny. Can't recommend the picture.
Neither did I. It's a sweet film, and I was in the same audience that you were. I guess the kids liked it. They liked it when the Meteor Man and the head of the drug gang, for example, were going through their charade together. But it's kind of a lame script, and there's a lot of dead stuff in it, and scenes that don't lead anywhere and aren't really necessary.
I think the pacing is just off and slow. And
for example, there's a whole character played by James Earl Jones who keeps changing his wig.
Well, I thought he was kind of fun.
Well, maybe so, but what did he have to do with the movie?
I wish he had played a bigger role in the movie or something.
Well, it would have had more to do.
Yeah.
Okay, when we come back, Woody Allen's new comedy Who Done It? Manhattan Murder Mystery.
That's all they have to say about Meteor Man.
Roger's always that would have been a great movie if it didn't have a flubber.
How many seconds was that?
Oh boy, that was 1 minute.
They 1 minute?
1 minute.
Wow.
On
we
Meteor
normally
Man.
get like 3 minutes on a film.
3 to 5, yeah. 1 minute on Meteor Man.
But Gene's not wrong. The pacing is very odd.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's not the worst movie we've watched.
No,
for them to give
not. Yeah, this guy.
For them to give it 1 minute is something. I was expecting a few more minutes.
This is what's great about critics, how unself-aware they are. It's like James Earl Jones, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I thought he was funny. I thought he was funny too. But what was he doing in the movie?
Yeah.
To be funny.
Yeah.
Like, what do you...
Well, and the I know this movie wasn't made for me, but I like children's movies.
Right.
Like, oh, okay, that's an interesting commentary on this film. Okay. Oh, when we're done. There we go.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, it's so sometimes it's weird. It's like
93.
Yeah, exactly. It's 93 and we have to watch 7 movies a week.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
How do you ask what the comic relief is there for?
Right, for comic relief.
What's with all these supporting characters?
Right, exactly.
Like, screw this movie.
Shouldn't this movie only have 2 people in it?
Where's Karen Allen?
Bystanders have to. Where's Karen?
My dinner with
Wallace Shawn.
My dinner with the Meteor Man.
Exactly. It's paced that way.
Hey everyone, Thoreau from Harmless Phosphorescence here with a message for you. Yes, you listening to me talk. Did you know that the Harmless Entertainment Network has a Patreon? That's right, you can join in and get extra fun like a Star Wars Harmless Phosphorescence miniseries, a patron-only Q&A roundtable episode. We have great bonus episodes of audio dramas like Attention Hellmart Shoppers in 1994. But not only that, if we reach our next patron goal, we'll do a monthly bonus Harmless Phosphorescence about a patron-chosen non-superhero movie. Plus, there are great new shows on the way, and if you're a patron, you'll get to hear them first. Head over to patreon.com/harmless entertainment today, and for the price of a cup of coffee, you too can join our super awesome superhero club. Now, back to the show. Yeah, that's about all we got for the run-up. Are you fellers ready?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's do it. Here is The Meteor Man. We open on space. There's a meteor explosion.
I have to correct you. It's not a meteor at this point. It is an asteroid. It's not a meteor until it enters the Earth's atmosphere.
And then it's a meteorite. Once it contacts,
once it hits the ground, it's a meteorite.
Did it ever hit the ground?
No.
What if it's absorbed into a human being? Does it then become a meteor man?
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently, obviously.
You're the scientist.
So there's a
people of meteors, not meteorites. That's a very old term.
Oh boy.
There's a large asteroid
This guy.
floating in space, and then a smaller asteroid that is inexplicably on fire, aflame with blue flames.
It eats the parasites off of the larger one. Yeah. That's why it flies around. But those Superman titles, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I just assumed that other asteroid made this one magical. It was like the combination.
They hit together and
I want to hear your science.
Yeah, because I watched it twice and I saw that again and I was like, oh, well, maybe that's what makes it. Maybe it's not just the meteorite. Maybe it's
The combination of these two.
The two of these magical elements.
It's like the baking soda and vinegar of asteroids.
Yeah, and then the explosion of them together made him magical.
In a taste sensation.
I'm really reaching here, Bob.
That's
Townsend.
all we can do.
Send us an email. Explain your movie to us.
Right.
We're confused.
We'd love to have you on the show, Robert Johnson.
Yeah,
I'm not being sarcastic.
No,
yeah, seriously. Please make another one of these. I would watch it.
As would I.
Yeah.
I'd watch. Yeah.
I did appreciate that this was a Tinsel Townsend production.
Yeah.
That was cool.
He even got to call the MGM backlot that in the credits it said, large portions filmed at Tinsel Townsend Studios.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Huh.
He did not own that backlot.
No, he did not. So then we cut to Washington, D.C. now.
Oh,
now.
They had a Michael Jackson song in the opening.
Oh yeah, they did.
That's expensive.
The soundtrack actually had a lot of good stuff on there.
And the cost of this movie was how much again? How many $1 million?
This movie cost. It was not cheap. It was not cheap for 1993. It was $30 million.
$30 million, and it made
8.
Oh my god!
It bombed.
Yeah, so things like the Michael Jackson tune, all of these cameos.
They had Too Legit to Quit, which was only like a year or two old at this point.
That must have cost a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So we meet Jefferson Reed, who's woken up by his dog.
Ellington.
Yes. Ellington.
After
the Duke.
His house, his whole vibe was so cool. I wish that we got to explore a little bit more of that side of him.
I wonder what song was on his pajamas.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
Yeah, the sweet sheet music pajamas.
Yeah, those are pretty
Probably
nice.
for Elise. It's always for Elise. I work at a music store.
So
it's always for Elise.
Here we are enjoying this aspect of the character that he took time to set up and show us and
Develop,
appreciate.
yeah.
It would have been neat to hear or see him play an instrument.
Yeah.
Well, we got to see the case.
We got to see the bass in the case, which was cool. I would have enjoyed seeing the gig fall apart, almost.
Right?
Yeah,
like him getting fired from the gig or something like
I
that.
thought the gig was going to happen. Yeah.
Maybe he gets a replacement bass real quick.
Or him grabbing his electric. You also notice he doesn't have an electric bass in his house.
Right.
That bothered me. Sorry.
Yeah, they don't pay it off.
I'll sell you a bass. Come on, bro.
We meet his neighbor Ernest.
With his simple Jack wig. The
Oh, my
first
God.
one with the bowl cut.
Oh my God!
Wasn't that the same wig that he wore in Conan the Barbarian?
Pretty close. He was Star Wars.
He was wearing that under the Vader helmet while he was recording.
On top.
He was wearing a wig in the booth.
Just Vader in the mirror trying different wigs. He wants to feel pretty. Everyone wants to feel
I love
pretty
that James Earl Jones
now and then.
doesn't necessarily take himself seriously.
No.
And is willing to do this kind of thing, even back in the 90s.
He truly is the comic relief in this.
Oh, absolutely.
He cracks me up.
And more than the comic relief, we'll get to points where we are questioning his moral judgment, which was weird. Which I thought which was a weird thing to do with the comic relief, but we'll get there.
He does have an arc.
Yeah,
Roger doesn't watch these movies.
Ernest, he's into vinyl.
Yeah.
Which will come back.
I will not part with any of my records.
No, I will not. I will not trade you. What was it?
No, not. It was Billie Holiday
for a Wynton Marsalis.
Yeah. It was very much like, let me put this rifle on this counter here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
This will come into play.
And James's character is like, I would never, so we're supposed to believe this is the first time they've talked records.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, or the 50th time, and it's an ongoing joke between them.
Yeah.
It could be.
So he arrives at school where he's a substitute, apparently.
Long-term sub, that's a real thing.
Yeah. It's a great walk and talk.
Yeah.
He and Eddie Griffin.
Oh, yeah. He meets his friend Michael, who works there as a science teacher. And he's setting them up with a couple ladies that night when they play a gig.
Michael's invented this device that he's carrying around that he says to monitor the vibrations of the audience. And there was a close-up on that. I thought that was going to be a thing later on, too.
I thought him being a science guy was going to be a thing in any way at all.
It was a little bit. He kind of had some answers somehow.
Yeah. No,
It's a little more than the musician.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, there were a couple of things that they set up early in the movie that I feel like they cut out.
Yes.
Possibly.
I think this movie had a number of things cut out.
Yeah,
that were sacrificed.
even just watching the trailer, I noticed there were a couple shots like him flying low over a dock. That was not in the film.
Yeah.
So I was expecting the Michael character to invent things throughout the movie.
To be his sort of cue.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't even help him with the costume.
Huh, yeah.
Yeah, I was expecting some costume input or something from him.
But yeah, I was right. His scientist friend, why?
This script needed...
Roger Ebert didn't
He's too busy chasing trim, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's the entire concept isn't bad. I just feel like the script needed another couple passes and a major look at like the tone inconsistency.
Yeah, it needed some shine. It needed something to some finishing work.
The tone is all over the place.
All over the place. Yeah. Okay. So then Jeff gets mad dogged by an 8-year-old.
Yeah, that's little Dre.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
Dre and Squirrel are different.
Oh, okay.
Different
There's
people.
2 of them.
Yeah.
He's called into the...
Every time they said squirrel, I felt like, what was that movie? Squirrel.
Squirrel. Guardians? Or not Guardians. Yeah. He's called into the principal's office where he's dressed down by angry parents with an injured son for teaching their children
to turn the other cheek?
To run and hide from bullies.
Okay, well, that's a shitty way of saying turn the other cheek.
And,
run and hide.
And to eat their lunch rapidly.
Yeah. It was strange what they were against.
What they were for and what they were against was weird. Yeah. It wasn't the same in every scene.
The principal's mad he hasn't encouraging kids to fight each other.
Yeah, was that what the implication was, that we should be encouraging kids to fight instead?
Stand up to bullies.
Stand up to bullies. Yeah, it was...
Well, those are 2 different objectives, though,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Stand up to bully and learn how to fight.
Yeah, it not
you
being
might have
made
to
clear,
fight if
I
you
think,
stand up, but
was a
not
statement.
always.
He was making a statement, and it wasn't really
that he was a
well
peacenik.
made.
No,
and as like with the movie as the medium to make that point, but they were making a point that like, well, you shouldn't teach kids to run away.
Right, face their fears or
they'll figure it out,
solve their problems.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that he
very heavy-handed.
That this the Lewis, the young kid, wasn't standing up to bullies and running all the time, made him a target for all the bullies.
Yeah,
and he was actually beaten up this time by a younger girl.
Yes. That's right.
Yeah,
and he's got a cast on his leg and on his arm, so he was beaten pretty badly.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
Yeah, it's overkill. They call it.
Yeah,
it was so weird. Like Jeff, the character of Jeff, spent a lot of time being like very silent and just like reacting until all of a sudden he'd have like a speech.
Yeah.
Or it would cut.
And it would be heroic until he was shook by something, and then he would be like, I'm awkward.
Yeah, he was easily rattled.
Very easily rattled.
The angry mother in this scene, Mrs. Williams, was played by Jennifer Lewis.
It's on Rock, right?
I believe so. But she was on 8 episodes of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as Aunt Helen. She was in the PJs. She was in a lot. She was in a lot of things. She was a really prolific actress. But we're going to see her again in Mystery Men as Lucille.
Oh,
William H. Macy's wife. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Walking home that afternoon with his dad, Ted, Robert Guillaume, and Ernest. Ted confronts...
who looks like Radio Raheem from the whole thing has a do the right thing vibe.
Yeah. Wow, and he's wearing the jersey and everything.
Yeah, the jersey and everything. They just throw Giancarlo Esposito in there, and it was do the right thing.
And as 2 girls are walking by,
brothers on the wall.
Oh yeah,
James Earl Jones. I'm sorry, Mr. Moses. He says, "You down with OBB?" Yeah, you know me.
Wait, he says OBB? I thought he said OBB.
No,
he says OBB?
I'm pretty sure he says OBB.
Or ODB? old Dirty?
No, OBB. It's showing that he's out of touch with the culture.
Gotcha.
He's an older guy.
To be cool. He's got the weird wig on.
When he was trying on the toupees, he was talking about meeting younger women and stuff.
Okay.
So he's down.
Wow. Huh. That's character thing I didn't catch. You down with OBGYN?
No.
Ted confronts Goldilocks, a member of the Golden Lords crime gang, but avoids their wrath as the cops drive by.
Golden Lords. So
Golden Lords.
You write into your script Crips and Bloods. actual gangs, and then also this. So, do the Crimson Bloods fear the Golden Lords? At the end, it doesn't seem like.
Yeah, we didn't.
How
really
does the Golden Lord? How do they have so much power when some just badass dude from the crypts
right shows up with an AK,
shoots all their blonde, shoots them while they're getting their hair done?
There was no interplay until the very end. Between them.
Yeah.
Right.
Why not?
They
So the
existed
baddest
almost
gang-
in separate movies.
Well, there were so many moments with villains monologuing that they could have just said yeah, ever since we took over from the Crips and the Bloods, blah blah blah.
Right,
They
didn't
work
have
for
that.
us now.
Well,
that
I
would have
mean,
been great. Boom.
Simon was cartoonishly
Yeah.
villainous.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, just such a fruity kind of group.
Yeah, they're really not that tough for an
Right.
early 90s
But
hood.
they look
Yeah,
so
I
freaking
don't mean
cool,
fruity,
man.
Oh,
It's
yeah, with their hair.
I feel like Kanye saw this movie a few years ago and was like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring that look back."
I was prophesying.
And they're all dressed to the nines.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're all
yeah.
wearing suits,
And
all
they
the
all
time.
match.
They have satin jackets
Yeah.
like the Van Buren boys.
They look so cool.
Yeah,
It's
They do. They look super cool.
They're
in
like
the
a
early
cool
90s.
Lost Boys kind of thing.
Yeah. That night, Jeff is on his way to his gig when he realizes he's out of gas. He borrows some money from his parents, who are at the community center, where they are creating a neighborhood watch.
Show him the cap, Maxine.
He returns to his car to find it's been broken into. His stereo and bass have been stolen. There's a lot of things of him talking to himself in order to to do exposition.
Yeah, and it's just like, you seem pretty old. Why wouldn't you hit your parents up for money before they leave?
Right.
Yeah.
You're probably out of gas. But either way, that's a snack.
Yeah.
Well,
Just
they
get 10
don't.
bucks from mom.
They don't live together. He doesn't live with his parents.
Yeah.
They just live in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was just walking from the store with his dad earlier.
Yeah. Weird.
But
So
he had to find them.
That was just a weird setup for him to get his
get
bass
into the
stolen,
meeting
to not have
and
the
the
gig,
bass stolen,
to
right?
yeah.
You have to
Yeah,
write
like-
out that element.
to put him in a weird place so he can get hit by a meteor, I guess.
Yeah. And then they have their blazing saddles type
right.
meeting.
He goes.
Ernest is right.
Yeah, and that honestly, this movie is Blazing Saddles in so many different ways.
In some ways, but
unironically, Blazing
Yeah.
Saddles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He goes into a nearby alley to throw away some trash. When he hears a woman in distress, he decides to help and finds she's being raped by a bunch of elementary school kids.
She's not baby lords.
She's being mugged.
Felt up.
Yeah, there was
Sexually
there,
assaulted.
There was some assault happening there.
was
Al.
Well, there was some
Because-
assault. I didn't notice any sexual assault.
It's felt sexual.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, there were a lot of scenes.
I honestly can't remember.
There were a lot of
but
scenes
that
with
is
kids
hilarious. It
that made
felt
me feel like, holy shit, man! They were playing up to the gang violence.
It made me
from these
uncomfortable.
kids. Yeah,
I was almost going to joke to Al, like, well, you didn't see it because but then you were like, it felt sexual.
well, and his
Felt-
reaction,
felt.
his acting, I should say, not even his written reaction, but his acting in
Yeah.
that scene is so bad.
Oh my god!
He's
yeah.
like, kids, like
Yeah.
fuck, man, that's not how a human being would react in that situation.
No.
Like it was so
He
bad.
plays fast and loose with these children.
Yeah.
Robert Townsend.
Well, I can-
compared to Toxie, there's always kids in that.
Yeah,
But they're
the
not
kids-
carrying guns
Yeah,
or
exactly.
assaulting people.
well, yeah, no, yeah.
The gangs are the kids.
Yeah, the
Golden
kids are
Lords.
terrible. No, this is a dude in his 30s who's like, kids.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Local toughs.
His acting style, he belongs on a WB sitcom.
Yes.
That's just where he belongs.
So the lords all line up. Right?
Yeah, so okay, yeah. Wow, yeah.
Tigers and slinkies.
They have a
They
tiger.
have a fucking tiger that they brought.
They just bring it out.
They're just walking it.
Yeah, he knows what to do.
Like it's got to go somewhere.
What if that thing gets excited?
The tiger needs exercise. That's why they're
Well, of
walking it to work off its energy.
Yeah, I'm not questioning why the tiger's outside. Just why they bring him.
Like that way they don't
Does
have
he
to
know
feed
what
it
his
one of
role
those kids.
is?
Yeah.
That's true.
They're like, we
Oh, he's tossing a baby lord into the pen.
if you guys act up, we'll feed you to the tiger.
What the fuck is a baby
Little Jimmy
lord?
acted up.
Right. So Jeff runs away and hides in a dumpster. until they leave. He's seen by one of the
Squirrel.
Was it Squirrel?
By Squirrel,
Yeah.
who does like Rolf from The Sound of Music, sees the Von Traps, but then keeps going.
Yeah, Squirrel opens up the lid of the dumpster and like looks him right in the face,
and he gets asked.
And he gets asked, and he says, "No, nothing in here."
Yeah.
So
Like Goldilocks.
He doesn't give him up.
Yeah.
And that's one thing they set up and then pay off is Squirrel.
They do.
Yeah.
Squirrel in the end
helping it,
comes around.
One of the few things. It's Squirrel's movie, really.
Don't we see Squirrel in the classroom at one point, I think?
Ooh,
or in the
actually,
school?
he goes
Yeah.
to school.
Is he one of the ones destroying the car?
Or breaking into the
chubby
lockers,
kid.
I think.
Oh, yeah, breaking into the lockers.
Yeah, we kind of get a little bit of setup for Squirrel, which is cool, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Squirrel
has an arc.
Yeah, he
You
does. So yeah,
The one redeemable kid.
right.
Everybody else is
all-
terrible.
I'm from another not so bad creation.
Dre redeems himself at the very end.
That's true.
By chucking
along with
a
Squirrel.
cocked and loaded gun.
Yeah. So as Jeff climbs out of the dumpster, he's struck
Like a grenade.
Well, also,
You cock a gun and then just
that was
throw
the
it.
cleanest dumpster ever because he is wearing a white suit and he gets out of that
Yeah.
dumpster
Oh yeah,
pressed still.
absolutely.
Just
yeah.
the sewer stuff.
Nails done, looks good.
They show his watch, and he's been in there for nearly 4 hours.
Holy
Oh
cow.
my
I didn't notice that.
god! Wow, I did not realize that. He gets out just in time to be hit by a glowing green meteor, which is apparently after him specifically.
Yeah.
It comes down, changes direction in midair to go parallel to the
Yeah.
ground after him.
And then flies, in a straight
slowly,
line.
slowly.
Which was
Very slowly. It is not traveling at typical meteor speed.
Not enough to fuse
super
with your
intentional,
body. Look
more
it up.
expensive to do this shot. They wanted to imply clearly that he was chosen
Right.
by this
the meteor.
But I did not expect a transformation scene. Like
That was
kinda
intense.
gross and
Yeah.
intense. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
It just
yeah.
merged with his body.
Little Toxic Avenger.
burns
kind
him and
of,
crushes him.
practical effects. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
In the hospital still with the burns, and he's still absorbing meteor. It was a long process.
It was.
It was not
It
immediate.
looked painful.
Which was cool. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
great.
It wasn't great.
It
It
belong-
wasn't
well,
perfect.
no,
no,
it was-
no.
There was a
at
long
least
shot of that meteor kind of Indiana Jones rolling down the alleyway after
ambling,
him. Yeah.
ambling down the alley towards
But you're
him.
right. Yeah, I mean, if they took that out, it would be a pretty lame superhero action.
Like, oh, he just
movie,
got hit by
or
a
science
meteor.
fiction movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would just
Like,
be
holy shit,
I got
what are
hit
the
by a
odds?
meteor, and then new scene he has powers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
At least we saw him transform. Origin story.
And getting chosen made it less stupid
And
Is he chosen?
while being stupid at the
other-
same time.
and a small chunk is left over that didn't absorb into him is taken away by an unseen hand. So he's rushed to the hospital.
Unseen hand is grossly appropriate.
He's rushed to the hospital where his friends and family gather. Several days later, wrapped in bandages, Michael prays over him, tries to pick up a nurse, and then leaves.
And then the weird teaching doctor and that ragtag group of students.
Right?
I mean, I'm all about adult education, but yeah, there were some people that weren't even in like lab coats or like,
They're like,
scrubs.
everybody come.
Now, this is a particularly bad case of someone being hit by a meteor.
I've seen my share of people hit by meteors.
Speak English, dog.
So they're amazed at how quickly he's recovered.
I'm amazed how the nurse took his pulse over those bandages.
Right.
And he's hooked to an EKG machine,
Right.
Why
Why
they
they-
need to take their pulse. It's right there. It's right there.
It was a fun moment when they came in. They've looked at his X-rays and they're kind of astounded. They look at his blood work, and then he wakes up and
He's
they're
woken
all
up.
he's woken up and
A nurse rattling him
his
back.
Shaking him awake.
his room is filled with hospital people, and he's still got the bandages on. And the one doctor orders his bandages to be removed, and
Mirror.
yeah, yes, give me a mirror, and then we finally see his face, and
It's the same.
it's the same. He's like, I always look like this.
Right?
well, and there's a gasp throughout the room.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
horrendous.
The Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah.
I had the Beholder.
Obviously, they're gasping because he had 3rd-degree burns.
Yeah.
All over his face and body. And
Right.
they're amazed that
he's normal.
Yeah.
But the one doctor is just like, obviously, this is a case of misdiagnosis.
We misdiagnosed him being hit by a meteor.
Turned out lupus.
So,
yeah. And then he misdiagnoses him standing there.
right. So this
the first
this is
weird
when we
power.
discovered the first of his many powers.
It's a neat idea, but it's also terrible.
Oh,
Just that you could just touch a book and absorb.
And gain all the knowledge of the book for 30 seconds.
Only 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So
timed things are weird.
Can you touch the book again?
You can just
Well, because in the end he
just
tries to find the
carry
Bruce
the
Lee
book.
book again, but gets the wrong one.
yeah,
Right, that's
like
true.
just pick up and hold the book.
Yeah, just keep the book in your hand.
And so I'm very curious about
you
this
could hit
power.
someone with the book.
just this power. Could you hold the book long enough to retain all of the information? Because he only touched the book for a moment. But if I touch the book for a longer period of time, will it be like reading it?
Out of nowhere in the 3rd act, the powers become very confusing.
Yeah.
How long you have them, what you have and what you don't.
He's
who can
losing
take
his
them.
powers, and
All of a sudden, it's
No, it comes,
everywhere.
it goes. It's
This power in particular is an interesting one though, because it's
Oh, it's-
unique. It's not something that we see.
Yeah, it's an original
often.
idea.
Yeah.
Well, right, because rarely does the hero gain knowledge. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He learns how to
Yeah.
be strong. He learns how to fight.
Which the knowledge thing is kind of
badass.
neat.
But
Yeah,
it goes away.
Jedi
Well,
thing.
it
But
goes
in
away.
30 seconds.
So this leads me to ask other questions. Like, does he get similar stuff from other things?
Oh, I
Touch a
wonder.
stone tablet. Can you read it if it's in cuneiform or
Right,
something?
like,
You know,
you finally
we could be
know-
really using this power.
Finally know what lamps think.
Does it work over the internet?
Yeah, could he touch a computer and absorb the internet for 30 seconds? We're asking the real questions here, folks. Anyways, Bob,
We are.
That night,
Twitter,
Yeah,
hit us up.
Bob.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm tagging him. That night, he discovers he has X-ray vision, except for underwear.
Always.
Honestly,
It's
I
never
think that
underwear.
he chooses not to
Not
look.
yes. He calls for a
No,
nurse.
but then he acts like he has no, like he wouldn't even look at his mom.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Well, in the beginning, maybe he couldn't control it. He's like, "Oh God!"
But
everybody's
nobody can see through underwear.
yeah. No, that's just the laws of movies.
He's like, I can see through anything.
He calls for a nurse, thinking it's going to be the attractive one in an attempt to see her naked.
Yeah, that's kind of.
But an old,
Yeah.
unattractive nurse shows up instead.
Yeah, but wouldn't you do it?
Of course.
I mean,
But it's creepy.
But I'm not a superhero.
Isn't that the
curvy.
if you get X-ray vision, isn't that the first thing you
Yeah.
do?
But see, I'm not. I don't have the moral fortitude of a superhero.
Yeah.
right.
There has to be a standard,
Nobody's calling us role models.
and I'm
Al.
not it. Yeah.
And that
Yes,
nurse,
I would.
I didn't look up that nurse, but I'm sure she's somebody.
Yeah.
Like was way.
She was great. She was
yeah.
a lot of fun.
She was a lot of fun.
All of the women in this movie were freaking awesome.
She thinks she's
Oh,
cute.
yeah.
I seen something cuter than that at the zoo.
That lady was great too. She had a couple
Without
of
a
moments
weave,
that really
she's a six.
shined.
The next day, he's released from the hospital. Meanwhile, Simon, the leader of the Golden Lords, discusses their planned expansion into other cities.
With the map, he's like, I brought monorails to Brockway, Ogdenville, and North Haverbrook. And I put them on the map. Harrisburg was really big on the map. Yeah, it's like we got Philadelphia, to
New York, Boston, and Harrisburg.
and Harrisburg. So an anthracite coal market that we've cornered.
They're like, crack, 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 crack.
In Harrisburg? Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so.
So Vanessa, the pretty nurse, was played by Leela Roshan.
Who was the unpretty nurse? Unpretty. The TLC.
The old nurse, the old.
I should have looked that up.
She's a character actress. She's been
Yeah,
in a lot.
because I was going to say, I know I've seen her in other things.
Oh, yeah.
Lawanda Page.
Yes.
She was in Sanford and Son. She was also in Friday. Shakes the Clown.
Oh, wow.
Yep. I love Shakespeare.
Yeah, the Sinbad Show.
Just old
Yeah.
character actress.
Yeah, in Living Color.
Yeah. She's popped up.
At home, Jeff discovers he can understand and talk to his dog. Okay, so the dog talking.
That's, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was terrible.
I wanted to also
Yeah.
quick mention that the Golden Lords were all drinking orange juice.
Yeah.
It's almost like that
Oh my God.
Boys and Girls Club that the Shredder ran sodas.
I thought that was it was interesting to as we start to see more of them to be like, oh, orange juice.
Well, because it's golden color.
Well,
they're staying with their theme.
But they're not like doing drugs because there's a bunch of kids in the gang.
That's
you know,
what I meant. That's
it was
what I
it was
compared
kind of like Shredder's
somehow tough,
arcade,
somehow adorable.
Yeah.
Like an R gang vibe.
But yeah, they didn't want to like overstep characterizing the bad guy as like something different. I don't know, it was weird.
We sure there wasn't gin in that juice?
Oh,
And that was my thought too. Was like maybe they give a kid just orange juice and they drink liquor. That's just me being
We're a street
hopeful.
gang.
You know,
so enjoy this Harvey Wallbanger. Toughs. Local toughs.
Local toughs. So he's talking to his dog, who sounds like a weird auto-tuned robot voice with barking over it.
Right.
A lot of thought went into that.
If you're going to have a talking animal, just let it talk.
Yeah,
they should have just had a funny voice actor do it. It should have been like Harvey Keitel or something being like, just like, oh, why does this dog have a white guy's voice?
Yeah.
You know, because it's a white dog.
And
that would have been really funny.
Like kind of a rough barking voice, like, hey, Jeff.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
like,
but it was weird. So it was like he could hear, but not very well.
that was something that when we get later on in the movie, the pack of dogs, I thought that would have been a really funny moment to have a bunch of, I mean, that's just me, a bunch of white voice actors being like, oh shit, let's get them. This is so great, man. It's great that people understand us.
Well,
like have them talking like dog stuff, like, ooh, your butt smells great. Like, but like that would have been a really funny joke, and it would have like leaned a little bit into race a little bit.
It's a good thing we all rescued this homeless man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like anybody else think this guy's a little weird? Yeah.
Why is he always trying to get us to drink this thing?
Well, damn. All right, we're not there yet. We're not.
Okay.
Anyways.
So
the dogs.
Jeff demonstrates his ability to absorb knowledge to Michael, and Michael is convinced of his powers rather quickly
by reading a Jet magazine description to him of a bikini model.
Which, by the way, Jet magazine in 1993 seems really dry.
Yeah, well, I had Maxine Waters.
Maxine Waters is on the cover.
Yeah. But like then there's like the wedding announcements and stuff. This is a national magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, there weren't a lot of black publications at the time.
I know.
You know?
That's crazy.
So the ever important scene of convincing your best friend that you have the power.
It happens.
Getting somebody on board.
Yeah. So meanwhile, we see the homeless man using his meteor powers to mess with an unsuspecting couple.
And so his first test of his abilities is making a drink.
Yep, it's
a cup of coffee, but that's what he's practicing.
He practices
how to pour things in and stir things.
He makes a drink and
holy shit,
and messes with some people's minds.
Right, and sees them.
Yeah, that's very meme worthy.
Yeah. It's
not to be putting pictures of him out there into the universe, but
so then the next day.
But wait, is this where Faison Loves the Neighbor calls it Hindendo?
Hindindu.
Hindindu. That's funny.
The next day, Ted is attacked by the Golden Lords on the street. Meanwhile, in school, the teachers are lamenting the violent tendencies in the kids. Jeff tries to convince them not to give up on the kids, but he keeps getting distracted by the crimes he sees them committing through the walls with his X-ray vision.
I know. He's like, maybe these kids do suck.
This scene could have been set up better. Yeah, I thought, but it got the point across, like his character across, like
that little
scene.
Chubby kid who looks almost like the guy from The Big Lebowski, who's like, "I kill your car," like smashing.
Oh my God! Well, yeah,
it looks like that guy.
Like, okay, so the kid's messing with the lockers. All right, that's it's bad kid stuff. But the kid's messing with the car. Like, do something about that. That is some straight up mess.
They light it on fire.
I felt like he could have left. That would have been better than him being awkward. Yeah, that would have been like, I gotta go. And they're like, that guy, what? Like, substitute teachers, man.
Yeah.
Like, I guess they're hard to come by,
right.
And,
he doesn't know that he has anything more than dog whispering abilities
true.
and
that's true.
X-ray vision.
All right, that's a fair point.
Book absorbing.
That's a fair point.
At what point do you start testing your powers like every Spider-Man movie? He doesn't do that. He just kind of stumbles into every single ability. It's just like, oh, damn, I didn't know I could do that too.
Yeah, right. Well, and that's a weakness of the script.
Yeah.
It's not a good script.
Or maybe there was a scene that got cut out. It feels like there were scenes that were cut out that existed.
Yeah, there's one in the third. Maybe I wrote it down, but yeah, there had to have been a deleted scene taken.
Yeah, it feels like in retrospect, we know that those things are pivotal to a superhero movie, but at the time there was no cookie cutter thing
in
that existed.
There wasn't as many.
That's why all those Batman movies got to be so bad. You know, they moved away from plain Jane storytelling.
But you're right, it's more of a trope now. That's true. Because like recently in Shazam, for instance, they do that. You know, he's convincing his best friend, but then his best friend's convinced. But then it's more of a like, let's see what you can do.
And it was cool visual for the audience and stuff. Yeah, yeah. Now we know that works really well.
Yeah, and you need to do it in an origin story.
Yeah.
That night, he arrives home from work to find his father just getting back from the hospital outside their apartment. The Golden Lords show up, and Jeff fights them.
Again.
Yeah,
Again.
They do that
and the main,
a dozen times in this movie.
The main
show
Golden
up and
Lord,
run away.
Yeah. The main Golden Lord's license plate said fashion. It did.
Jeff fights them off using his new powers there, and they run away. He tells his parents about the meteor and asks them to just make up an excuse for all the neighbors that saw his display of strength.
Yeah, he tosses some guys around. Tiny Lister breaks his hand trying to punch him in the stomach.
Yeah,
which pays off later.
Yeah,
and then they try to run him over with the car, which he just stops.
Yeah,
that was great. That was a great practical
all
effect.
All the weird handprints in cars throughout this.
Yeah,
that was the one thing that they did well.
Next day, he wakes up late for work again. That's a running thing. And on his way out is the victim of a drive-by shooting of the Golden Lord. All of the scenes of them, there's several times in this movie where they're just like just blasting away at a single person. And it inevitably, like the person is just standing there going, oh.
Yeah, just exploding.
Shaking and screaming.
Well, and gunfights where the two sides are about 20 feet apart.
Yeah.
25.
Just
and everyone's just standing there.
Away.
You could throw your gun at that guy. Like
no one's running at all. They're all just deer in headlights.
Right.
Yeah.
The gunman is played by Bobby McGee.
And Bobby
that
McGee?
Janis Joplin guy. Janis Joplin too.
That guy. His name in this is Uzi.
Okay.
Appropriately.
He's
been in a lot of everything. Martin and Rock and Fresh Prince and the Five Heartbeats as well.
To their surprise, though, the bullets have no effect on him. They chase him in their car, and he ends up flying up to the top of a lamppost. Thank you. Cut that out.
No, don't. My sister thinks it's hilarious.
When we sneeze?
And finally someone said, bless you.
Then we reacted to it. Instead of acting like throws.
All right. It's staying in for you, Claire. They chase him in their car. He ends up flying up to the top of the lamppost, and the Lords drive away. He falls off after being mistaken for a peeping Tom, and when he lands, he creates an earthquake.
Yeah. This was a cool this was a cool effect. Not practical. It didn't break the earth.
Yeah. The effect looks cool, but it's also confusing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Strange.
Very confusing.
Is he lighter than air or is he heavier than plutonium?
Is he so dense that
right?
It's a good question.
He didn't fall very far.
No, he did not, because it bent down. He fell like maybe 10 feet.
Yeah.
He arrives back home to find his parents making plans for his crime-fighting career and working on a costume for him.
His dad's like, I don't know, avenge me.
The first thing you should do, I don't know.
Right? You can't find any other reason.
Bust the crack houses or take down this gang?
Avenge me. Look what they did. And pulls off his bandit.
Right. I'm fine, but avenge me.
And
what did they even do to him? Because he's really fine for the rest of the movie.
It's just sort of a contusion. Yeah. Didn't even look like he needed a bandage.
And Mom says he's going to be the best dressed superhero. Better than Batman. Better than Superman.
Better than
What's the name of that other? What's that other child?
Yeah,
other child.
Spider-Man. Can't touch him. Can't touch it.
And then she cackles.
Yeah,
intensely for a long time.
They are so
Marla Gibbs
proud of him.
Very sinister.
Yeah.
But I love that she's reading costumes later. Or I mean, not costumes, comic books. But it's funny, she's reading Iron Man, the one guy who doesn't really have a costume per se.
Yeah.
But looking for inspiration.
Iron Man's mom
cool.
sewed that.
Well, and Iron Man's real popular too. So
Well, in 1993, he was not.
He was not.
Yeah.
That's
true.
We forget Iron Man became popular because Marvel didn't own the rights to anything else.
True.
And Robert Downey Jr.
And that's why the movie was made. They didn't own the rights to anything else, so they had to make an Iron Man
C
movie.
or D lister.
They had no X-Men, they had no Spider-Man. But that's a story for another podcast.
This one in the future.
So then, meanwhile, Simon, the leader of the Golden Lords, doesn't believe the story his guys are telling him about Jeff.
Did you guys see the poster or the neon? Whatever it was.
It was neon.
Simon says.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Simon says, break the rules.
Break the rules.
But except that one, only if Simon says. That's the rule to that game.
That night, there's a meeting in the community center where the residents of the neighborhood lay out their expectations for him to protect them.
Because Mom went out and told everybody.
I was like, damn it, Mom.
And they start making plans for him right away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they want him to. They say they want him to patrol three nights a week.
Right.
Only 3 nights a week.
Yeah.
Well, those are the only nights that crime happens.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And they're planning on installing the Meteor phone.
It's so Blazing Saddles, the community, like the whole. We will choose by committee.
Right.
We will decide what's best.
And we've all seen the reluctant hero, but that is a bit intense. The entire community is like, you better.
Right.
There was a thing where this kid took a Polaroid of Jeff right at the beginning of that meeting.
Oh, yeah.
And he looks at the image, and where Jeff's face and hands would be, you just see like the emerald crystal.
Yeah.
That was kind of spooky.
It was kind of spooky,
Yeah.
and I thought that was going to be a thing.
There was a lot of things that
yeah.
seemed like they were going to be a thing, and maybe they were, but they got cut out for time.
Yeah.
Like
Stuff that would have made it more interesting.
Like he was turning into crystal or something like that. And I don't know, might have
Slowly becomes a rock.
Yeah.
So he's resistant at first, but when his landlady is beaten up by the gang, he decides he must become Meteor Man. Then we get a montage.
Yes, fashion montage.
He hones his powers, and his mom creates his costume. He flies off to fight crime.
She makes so many costumes.
She makes a lot
of
costumes.
time and material.
Evidence.
Yeah. Like, why didn't you show Eddie Griffin your sketches?
Yeah.
And then choose one, right?
He's got a new power in this montage, the laser eyes.
Laser eyes.
He's got some
One of the costume designs, he had Polaroids on his shoulders.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, he's
the body cams.
He's practicing talking to the perpetrator. He's like, "Oh, I don't have any evidence."
Which is
there you go.
Very different attitude on police body cams.
Right.
You know, not looking at it as an accountability thing, looking at it as
well, those weren't a
I'm
thing.
going to catch you.
In 93 body cam. So he sort of invented.
Yeah. Well, and I mean,
but like with cops and stuff, people were
fair.
like, we could put this on TV and show.
Anybody could strap Polaroid cameras to their shoulders. You don't have to be a superhero for that.
You got to catch it as it flies out. You got to stand there and shake.
Let's make it a thing. I'm down.
Old school body cams.
Taking Polaroids.
He flies off to fight crime 6 feet above the ground.
I think that was just 3 feet.
Okay.
He's
it was pretty low.
It was really low because he's still afraid of heights.
Yeah. That's a cute conceit. The superhero that can fly that's afraid of heights.
That is cute.
And he's also flying very slowly at this point, just at about a walking pace.
Right.
That was one of the funnier things about this movie that I thought really worked, was him being afraid of heights and flying slowly.
Him being reluctant to explore his abilities was fun.
Yeah.
But not outrightly stated.
No.
That's true.
Yeah.
So he proceeds to bust up a drug lab, stop a pair of burglars so he stop them? Because he turns the TV on and flies away, and they're still just standing there with the TV.
And he's like, it doesn't need repairs if you ask me.
It alerts the neighbors
Yeah.
and the
Somebody
neighboring
was like,
apartments.
call the police.
Yeah, everybody else comes out.
And then he makes peace between the Crips and Bloods and the police.
Yeah, that was the shootout where it's like they were so close to each other.
They were, and
he didn't catch all those bullets.
No. Well, and he's acting like the police are another drug gang that they just need to make peace together.
He needs to make a peace,
Just accept that the gangs are going to do drug deals.
Right.
That is the ending moral of the story.
And the Crips and Bloods are already friends fighting together against the police.
Right. Yeah.
And I love how in movies and TV, they're always like tiered. Do you know what I mean? Like, If you're going to have a firing squad, you really shouldn't have people behind you.
No, you want to stand in a row with no one shooting behind you.
But so often in movies, there's 2, 3, 4 guys with guns behind one guy.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to shoot him, and he's going to shoot him.
It's a weird scene. Yeah. It's a really weird scene.
It's very out of place. It's not developed beyond. Thank you.
And it said something about whatever like middle-aged, upper-class conservative views he had.
Yeah.
When he was writing this in 1993.
Yeah.
It's true.
Interesting time capsule.
Yes, it is.
In some ways,
yeah.
So Simon shows up to survey the damage to his drug lab, and the news report on Meteor Man's doing airs, but a crank shows up on air to take credit for Jeff's work.
The news anchor, her character name was Janice Farrell.
Yeah.
The actress is Charlene Woodard, and she would play Elijah Price's mother in Unbreakable and Glass.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Andrew looked that up.
Huh.
It's cool.
That night, he does some gardening in a vacant lot. So here's maybe his weirdest power.
Yeah, he's literally cleaning up the neighborhood.
Super farming?
Yeah.
So did he get seeds from anywhere?
I don't know.
I think he just made those plants.
Giant, cloudy with a chance of meatball style vegetables.
Yeah, and like how are they going to slice those squashes and like, serve
chainsaws,
them
man.
to school kids?
So
yeah,
I mean, we jumped over Frank Gorshin's introduction, but another.
No. Wait, that comes up later.
That's before the vegetables.
Just after.
The
Wait.
vegetables?
Nope. Wait. Yep, just before.
Oh, you're right. I just skipped that paragraph.
And there's nothing that important, but I was just another villain.
Well,
meeting.
okay, yeah. So
Like
there's a big meeting. His name is
bad
Anthony Byers.
Yeah.
He's a leader of an international drug syndicate. And he has a very international meeting there.
Yes.
And he puts out a bounty on the flying man.
Yep.
Yes.
Which I'm surprised we didn't end up with Clarence James Carter III, on a slab somewhere.
Yeah.
Or see him trying to fly or something.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. So, okay. So that happens. Then he does the gardening. The giant vegetables grow.
The giant mutant vegetables.
Yeah, well, that doesn't make any
So,
sense.
okay, so-
he should have processed that food and served it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So his powers thus far, he can absorb knowledge for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
He has X-ray vision. He has laser beams that shoot out of his eyes. He has super strength. He can fly, and he can create giant vegetables by blowing into a cloud and making it rain.
Control the weather.
He created life.
Yeah.
From nothing.
He fertilized
Set the Alpha 6.
He fertilized the ground with his powers, and then made it rain by blowing into it. And you left out Dog Whisperer.
And dogs.
Yeah.
Yes, he can understand dogs.
Whisperer.
all-
Caesar Milan.
There's food in the Genesis cave. Enough to last a lifetime in this, Eric.
So, I mean, seriously, he's more powerful than Superman.
Yeah.
He should be on Mars terraforming.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
But in this case,
Dr. Manhattan.
a green rock gives him his powers rather than takes it away.
Sort of flipped it there, you think.
Yeah.
But then he gets an interview, sort of a Captain Avenger from Hero at Large type interview. And people feel good. Everyone's feeling good about it.
Yeah. So, the attractive reporter,
Janice Farrell.
Janice invites him to lunch on air. At school, Jeff is about to ask another teacher out on a date when her boyfriend Sinbad shows up. So the whole love interest, there was like a number of like potential love interests, and none of them paid off.
That was actually his ex, Stacy.
Oh.
She broke up with him 4 months prior.
Okay. When was this?
That was mentioned in the first scene with Michael and Jeff in the school.
Wow.
Because Michael's telling him, Michael's finding the ladies to come to the show,
Right.
Because he's encouraging Jeff to get over his ex Stacy.
And then and Stacy has a new boyfriend,
Malik,
aka Bernard, aka Sinbad.
You gotta help me out. This is my first black girlfriend. I'm trying this whole thing. Yeah. Feeling black this week.
That was the Sinbad was funny.
It was funny because he just meets Jeff, but he does this secret confiding thing. Right. Like, she's my first black girlfriend.
I'm going to ask the Council of White Guys.
Yeah.
Is Sinbad black?
I thought he was black.
I don't know.
He's black. I always thought he was black.
So that was the thing where I was like, I always thought Sinbad was black. I guess he's playing a character that is.
Well, yeah. So it's like, was
not
he
black.
joking? Well, I mean, Robert Townsend wrote the script, but is he making a gag on that?
I think he's supposed to be playing a black guy that like grew up in kind of an upper middle class,
passes
like
for
way, and is you know has probably went to college, has never really been around other like the black community.
Yeah.
No, he even jokes about the inner city mall.
It just
he hadn't been to the inner city mall.
Yeah,
before.
he's the rich black guy.
It just didn't land.
No,
I think. Yeah.
no, it did not
You're
land
absolutely
well.
right.
Yeah, it just added to like, what are you trying to say here?
Then after school, Jeff's grading papers when he's confronted by the Golden Lords. How did all those guys sneak in the classroom?
Into the school.
Without, like he looks up and they're just all right there.
Super hearing is not one of his powers.
No, but then that is what makes him look up is the slinky that.
Yeah.
And so they introduced that.
Really quiet.
Slinky is life, bro.
Yeah, I guess.
Slinky is life.
I never thought of them as ominous before.
Him looking up and being surrounded by the baby lords was a little terrifying.
The baby lords are terrifying.
They really are. They're more terrifying than the adult Golden Lords.
I will say this, though.
The Golden Lord.
If you are a tailor and you make tiny little best man suits in that neighborhood, you're making a killing.
Oh, God, yeah. Because they've got to get dirty a lot.
I know. Or grow. They've got to grow.
Oh, my God.
Do they grow? But yeah, because they're the baby lords in the leather jackets, and then there are the ones that, especially lined up, they look like a giant groomsmen's party.
Yeah.
Like just a bunch of best.
There were a number of looks for the entire gang. It wasn't just the same get up every time.
Baby lord.
Because you got the baby lords and the junior lords,
Right.
And
I know
the regular
this movie
lords.
was expensive.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And I know it's a trope for like villains and drug dealers to use children. That's been used a lot, but that doesn't seem like that's what's happening.
Yeah.
It's as if they're running a foster type situation.
Right. Because there's a lot of them.
Right.
Like
they
a
dress
whole
them
lot.
and feed them. And
They dye their hair.
They dye their hair.
Yeah.
And we don't see them committing crimes exactly.
They were just like
On their
enforcers
own.
almost.
Yeah, they
had,
were.
like baby enforcers. It was weird.
Yeah, they get it. People are afraid of them.
And I think those are the elements that I really liked.
Yeah,
Was like
me too.
that.
How do you not find that?
Yeah, like
hilarious?
the baby enforcer was just. It was cute while being ominous.
Well, and how is your first line of defense a row of children with no weapons? You want to talk about cannon fodder?
Oh man!
And I just imagine them filming this was a lot of fun. You know, herding a bunch of little kids into like, okay, stand and look menacing, and they're like, oh, okay, they're kids, man. That's so hard to do.
They get tossed around, and I don't think they're little people.
Yeah, no, they
people.
are. Yeah, they're children. Yeah. It was a lot of fun watching the kids act. You know, because they're kids, and I'm sure that was work. That was like hard work.
Oh God.
I bet.
So Michael shows up, tells them the Meteor Man was spotted elsewhere, and they leave.
They just leave.
The next morning, Jeff sleeps through his costume being stolen, and then hears on the radio that Michael, pretending to be Meteor Man, is trying to meet the attractive reporter for lunch and making a public appearance. So like he's like it gets stolen, the dog wakes him up, and then immediately he's on the radio.
Right. Yeah, there was a big cut. I think there was a scene missing. Yeah, and the dog has subtitles and the weird robot dog voice. Like, just go with one or the other.
That dog voice was terrible.
Because I had my closed captioning on, but then it had what the dog was saying, but then also his dog voice singing.
It was like tracheotomy. It sounded like he had one of those throat things for
That's
when
what
you.
I just tracheotomy.
When you play fast for
The Golden Lords hear the radio too, and they and Jeff both rush to find him first. They both arrive at the mall, where Michael's pretending to be Meteor Man to pick up girls.
Well, and has anybody ever seen a promotion that's registered to vote win a trip to the Bahamas?
Yeah, that was great.
Registered to vote
To the Bahamas.
You're not supposed to get prizes for it, okay?
It's your civic duty.
Yeah, exactly. It's the only thing you're asked to.
The prize is not having to have a certain person in office.
Register to vote.
Yeah.
We won't
now,
give you anything,
please.
but register to vote.
Just go do it.
The MC at this rally was Chris Tucker.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Uncredited,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I didn't even notice. Oh, wow.
Yeah, because even the teacher was like, I told you. I told you he was Meteor Man. You did? The conversation happened off.
He said, I told you you could fly. Give it up for Meteor Man.
But we didn't hear anyone arguing with him prior to
Right? No, he's just shouting at the crowd. Jeff saves Michael from the Golden Lords. Although he's angry with Michael for taking his clothes, he takes his clothes back with his powers and flies away.
Okay, so that's a dumb move, folks. You know, it's like saying you have a gun and you don't have a gun, and then the other guy pulls out his gun. You're like,
Right.
shit, I didn't actually have a gun. Yeah, why would you pretend to be a superhero? They're going to ask you to do superhero things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That night, the neighborhood has a surprise party for Jeff to thank him for helping with the community, but they're attacked by the Golden Lords.
Who also dance. Those kids dance and entertain. Like, 'cause the camera sort of swept around, and the older Golden Lords were being menacing gangsters, but all the kids were dancing, like choreographed dance in front of people, like they were intimidating.
Dancing, nice. Because that was another bad creation.
Yeah, exactly.
It was
another.
They put it in their contracts that they had to dance in this movie.
They were forced to.
Oh, God.
Oh no, they demanded it.
They demanded. Baby Lord.
Belle Biv DeVoe demanded it on their behalf. So the Golden Lords try to gun down the entire crowd, but Jeff catches all the bullets, and the Lords drive away. But then Jeff realizes the bullets made his hands bleed.
Because of what? Yeah, why? Too many, or his powers are draining?
Powers are starting to fade.
Yeah.
Okay.
So did he get shot, or did he get a blister?
Well, I mean,
he caught several. He caught a bunch of bullets in his hand.
There were dozens
Actually,
of
kind
bullets.
of a cool effect.
But they didn't go
actually.
through his hand. Yeah, the visual on that was really neat.
They didn't go through his hand, but there were enough that like it made him bleed.
Yeah. Do we know who did
happened to Superman
the special effects? Was there a special effects house?
Yes, Industrial Light and Magic.
It was ILM.
Yeah.
Are you? Why would you go?
I'm not
anywhere
kidding.
else?
Wow.
Wow.
Of course.
Yeah, in the very
Especially
end. Let's see. Special visual effects by Industrial Light and Magic and post-production sound services by Skywalker Sound.
Wow.
I mean, to be fair, Skywalker
Rick
filmed
Baker.
it did a lot, but special. Wait, what was it?
Not practical effects.
Special visual effects.
Special visual effects.
So
I don't imagine they did all the effects. Probably just some post-production work.
But the moving shots, those kinds of things,
Yeah.
the
Right,
green
yeah, probably mostly
swooping,
post.
Yeah,
those
that
kinds
kind of
things.
stuff.
I
Yeah.
could see them handling those.
The transformation scene too.
Yeah.
It seemed like a Rick Baker kind of. But, and this is around when we get introduced to evil Luther Vandross, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. The next morning, Anthony Byers, our crime lord, and the Golden Lord show up to pay a visit to Jeff, but he sleeps through the entire thing. Luckily, his dog hides him from the gangsters.
Yeah, that was adorable. The dog pulling him through the apartment to hide him. Not
Yeah.
only does the dog speak, the dog is now more intelligent.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The dog gained powers. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Why wasn't he like, the toilet's fine to drink out of?
You're like, I want to eat everything.
Right? Can I take a shit here?
I'm in love.
I'm going to do it anyway.
I'm in love with your shoes.
You're like, I know I'm not supposed to, but I'm just going to hump stuff.
This has been Dog Thoughts.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
As he's pooping.
Pooping or humping or yeah.
When he finally wakes up, Michael and his family are there. Michael explains that using his powers drains him and makes him sleepy. His parents want him to go away for a while until it's safe again.
And that's not far out that, you drain your powers, you have to sleep. But do they
Yeah, they were
regenerate?
unclear.
Yeah, it was unclear that if he slept that long, he got his power. It didn't seem to make a difference.
They were saying that using his powers makes him sleep to recharge. So
But then he wakes up and he seems to not have any of his powers.
Right, they insinuate that the powers will come back, but then that doesn't seem to happen.
Yeah,
Right,
it
that's
was,
what I meant.
There was like a crisis as to like, will I get my powers back?
Yeah,
The
there were.
back half of the movie. It was weird.
Yeah.
Very much.
Without being said, will I get my powers back? That's how it felt.
Right.
He goes out.
Michael seemed to know a lot.
Yeah, Michael was all over that. He goes outside and sees that the gang has basically destroyed the entire neighborhood. There's a meeting in the community center. They're about to vote on whether to make him leave.
Yeah, they turned hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is when James Earl Jones says, "Well, let's have a vote."
Right.
Which just seems so like spineless of him to like, well, let's just We'll have a vote.
It's a real Pontius Pilate.
Yeah, we'll see how it pans out.
Way to go.
Yeah. Not standing up for his friend and neighbor.
Right. Yeah. No, banish him, exile him.
Yeah.
And that community center meeting room has a really nice spotlight.
Yeah, seriously.
It's just the middle of
Spotlight
the crowd.
operator did a great job.
You don't
there.
need to vote. I don't even like living here anyway.
All right.
So he agrees to leave before they vote, but he also shames them for opting to do nothing.
Right.
It's like, you know, you don't like the police, but you're not doing anything.
Right, which is a total turnaround from how the movie started, where he always told everyone to run away from
Exactly.
trouble.
Yeah.
I guess I imagine Robert Townsend was thinking that this was character development.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. And it was weird that like some people didn't know he was Meteor Man, and some people did. Like his costume was stolen, but he flies away as Jeff holding the costume,
and no one notices or cares.
Yeah.
And he's not wearing a mask.
Right.
At any point,
realize
He doesn't even particularly care.
He doesn't even have glasses to
right.
take off.
Yeah.
He just wanted his costume
Exactly.
back.
Dog's like, you took your costume, so
So he goes to pack to leave, but while he's doing that, the gang surrounds his house and Simon calls him out. That scene, Meteor Man.
Simon takes his hat off with a gun.
Yep.
Holy God! Yeah, that.
Wow, man.
Yeah,
I do voice acting.
taking a loaded Glock to take your hat off.
Yeah, that was. So Jeff goes down and gets beaten up for a solid 5 minutes. Only Michael comes out to try to help. Then he gets beaten up. Meanwhile, Marvin, the homeless guy, sees what's happening and takes his dogs out.
Oh wait, we get James Earl Jones throwing records.
That's about to happen.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Simon's about to kill Jeff with a gun when Ernest throws a record at him from the second-story window, knocking the gun out of Simon's hand.
Oh, I forget what the record was.
The one that he wanted to trade.
Yeah,
It was Lady in Satin by Billie Holiday.
Yeah,
it's a great record.
I can figure out how old he's supposed to be.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah. Simon picks it back up and is gonna shoot Ernest again when.
Oh shit! I'm sorry, I jumped over something during the during the meeting. The woman was talking about how the Golden Lords are taking over, and there's nothing you can do. Meteor Man wasn't there to help, and they're basically just a group of sitting ducks.
Oh.
Duck facts.
And they, since we're going back to that briefly, they also said that things have gotten worse since Meteor Man had shown up.
Taken it.
Yeah.
Shown up. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's brought attention upon them.
So
back to the fight.
So Simon's about to shoot Ernest in the window when a squirrel
kicks it out of his hand.
Kicks it out of his hand. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Then Dre grabs the gun from the ground as they're going for it, and he tosses it
right
off into the.
Well, Simon's henchman cocks the gun and then hands it to Simon.
Right.
Again, it's
Like,
just
bro,
odd.
I can handle that.
Right. But then, yeah.
You don't hand me a freaking cocked gun.
A cocked gun. Yeah. Exactly.
That's dangerous.
How people get shot.
Well, plus it's an automatic. You don't actually need to cock those.
Yeah, that's
also
true. It's
true.
an automatic. Yeah.
He's furious and he orders his men to kill Jeff and the kid when Marvin arrives and strips the Golden Lords of their guns with his super meteor powers.
I expected Marvin to start throwing dogs.
Like the cat lady.
The cat lady on the Simpsons.
He had a little dog brooch on his lapel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The homeless guy rescues dogs.
Seeing the guns gone.
There at this point, there was some theme music playing.
Oh, right.
That was
Ba-boom.
super reminiscent of the Superman theme.
Yeah.
But it was
yeah.
it's like they had the score and they flipped 2 notes in every little passage.
Just enough to
Yes.
not have to.
Yeah, there were a
Get
couple of
sued.
moments where it felt like Superman and some Star Wars pieces too.
Yeah, it's weird because it went John Williamsy once in a while.
Yeah.
But just
And
once in a while.
And you could tell immediately because it
Yeah.
sounded just like a John Williams tune.
You could tell throughout this movie what Robert Townsend liked about superhero movies and what he wished he got to see, representation wise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he was very much Superman in a lot of different ways. You
Yeah.
could tell Robert Townsend was a fan.
Upright.
Yeah.
He
those
chose
kinds
to
of
make
things.
a superhero movie.
Yeah,
Or
what-
write
yeah.
a superhero movie.
Yeah, in some ways, it's too bad that it was turned out so bad because there's a lot of great ideas here.
Yes.
They just weren't executed well.
He should have created an upright bass and played it. I know that's terrible and hokey, but that would have been really cool.
Yeah. Well, you should have seen him as a musician.
Yes. Yeah. Been a little bit more Green Lantern creative with it. Yeah. Anyways, that's
okay. So, seeing the guns gone, the locals run outside with frying pans and brooms and fight the Golden Lord.
You ain't nothing, man.
And an all-out brawl alongside Marvin's dogs. In the mayhem, Marvin drops the meteor, and both Jeff and Simon grab the rock simultaneously, each gaining superpowers.
That was bonkers.
Yeah.
Well, I guess not. According to his own storytelling, that's all you need to do is get in contact with this meteor.
Did you notice that Marvin throughout it was just like taking meteor dust, like it was like drugs to like use the powers? He'd like take some and then like move stuff around.
Yeah, he would just caress the rock in the coffee can.
Yeah.
Speaking of caress, Tiny Lister's just petting his cast,
right?
Like it's a cat,
until it finally like bursts out of it. Like,
yeah, that was great. The bursting out of the cast scene, so he could break the window.
Right,
you could have just broke the window with the cast.
It probably would have hurt less.
Yeah.
And then when Jeff goes through the bookmobile.
Yeah. So Simon's getting the upper hand. He throws Jeff through the bookmobile.
When Simon lifts Jeff just before he throws him through the bookmobile, he's holding him up and he says, "This is what I think of your Meteor Man."
Yeah.
Was that not a Zod?
Yes.
Line? This is what I think of your Superman.
Absolutely. Whoa. He gets very Zod-like in this scene. That's what it was weird that they gave him equal powers just for
one scene.
Yeah. It was totally Zod.
Yeah.
But I thought once he went through the bookmobile, I thought he was going to like challenge him to an academic decathlon.
Right?
Like Billy Madison.
They missed a real opportunity for him to talk to the dogs.
Not only
this
is that
capital
wrong.
of Burma, main export.
Right.
So anybody got an encyclopedia?
Jeff touches a Bruce Lee book and gains martial arts knowledge long enough to beat up a bunch of Golden Lords. Then he and Simon both touch a runway model book and hijinks ensue.
No, they have a walk-off.
God, that was
We've seen Zoolander.
Great.
Yeah. They brought in Larry, the Karate Kid.
Health inspector.
That's right. Get him, Karate Kid.
Get him, Larry. It's Larry. Do it, Larry. Kung Fu Master Larry.
Larry
all the voices.
We want to make sure you know Larry's a karate guy.
Larry.
Bruce Leroy.
They resume fighting, and at one point, Simon is about to throw a dumpster at Jeff, but he hears Jeff's dog, Ellington, barking, telling Jeff that to get up.
Well, yeah, so they almost ruined this completely for me when I thought they killed the dog.
Right, yeah. He throws the dumpster at Ellington.
Not to be so delicate, but Jesus, you don't need to
kill
a dog.
Real weird. Real quick before all that, Digit, the Tiny Lister, he rips his cast off and he comes in and he breaks both of his hands and then he breaks his leg. And he probably breaks his teeth biting him on the ankle.
Yeah, I thought
he just doesn't learn.
He just does not learn.
I thought he was going to spit out some teeth, actually. Yeah.
And then the Bruce Lee powers wear off, and he grabs the runway modeling book. And it was really smart of him to throw the book at at Simon.
Right.
To throw it at Simon.
That's how any of us can use a book.
Right.
In a fight.
But so that they're both like stuck with the runway model.
Right.
They have the knowledge, but do they have to use it?
They don't have the skill. Yeah, it was like Paris is burning or Zoolander.
Right.
Yeah, if they read a children's book, do they become children?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like,
They're like, I'm trapped talking like Dr. Seuss.
It's like, I will not kick your ass in a house. I will not kick your ass with a mouse. And Simon yells out, I want a meeting with the world leaders.
Yeah.
I guess he yelled that to the baby lords who would then set that up.
Right. We'll get on that right away, Simon.
We'll call the Clinton campaign.
They're
we'll
all
make
at
sure
Frank
that,
Gorshin's house.
And he dances around while his men are shooting him. He orders his men to shoot him.
Yeah.
He's dancing around. He's just delighted at being invincible, I guess.
Yeah, no, whatever it was. So, yeah. So Jeff runs away, and Simon gloats by doing a shooty bullet dance.
I was so confused. I had to rewind it. I was like, wait, why are they shooting him? What did I miss?
He just told
He's just wanting him
He's
to
like,
dance.
woohoo!
So how did he get his power back all of a sudden? Or did he have it? And they were so evenly matched,
Jeff,
but they didn't seem evenly matched because Simon beat the shit out
No,
of him.
Simon was winning, but then Jeff returns in his outfit.
After he got tossed over the building, and then he just shows up in his outfit and he's somehow stronger
and faster, confident, and
he found courage.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and he quickly takes out the lords and Simon and then drains Simon of his powers, absorbing them back into himself.
That's weird.
Yeah, there were some missing moments in this. Like, we didn't see
I think there was a deleted scene.
Like his mom or
Around
something being like, "Here's your uniform, honey. You got this."
Right.
Like if they had put that moment into that, it would have made him standing on the edge of the building funny and better.
But without doing any of that, they make you think that the costume imbues him with some sort of powers.
Right.
There were steps missing from this.
There were definitely some
ending,
scenes cut, for sure.
I can't remember exactly, but there's a scene before this with Simon where, I think there was literally a deleted scene.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, there was a lot of confusion because stuff was not contextualized at all.
And then the things that were confusing, like stripping the baby lords of their clothes.
Yeah, the Golden Lords run away and he strips so now that we're naked, we're not bad anymore.
Right? Those pants were making me really capable of
And
evil.
he ties them up. They're children. You can put children, put them in the back of a truck or close them in a cabinet, but no, he undressed them and tied them up with their own clothes.
Right.
That's,
well, I mean, this was the
scary.
This was the era of like the government saying these children are super predators.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. These kids.
So the neighborhood residents gather around Ellington, who's lying in the street, whimpering in pain. Jeff uses his X-ray vision to see that Ellington's ribs are broken, but before he can do anything, his powers fade away. But just then, Marvin comes over and uses the last of his powers from the meteor fragment to heal Ellington's injuries, saving Ellington's life, and everyone clapped.
So that's a power that Marvin had, but Jeff didn't. Yeah, everyone claps. But Jeff didn't have?
Well, maybe he did, but it faded away too fast. I don't know.
So those
he
powers,
set that book down.
Are those powers
How to
coming
revive
back
a dead dog
next week?
Yeah.
After he wins the trip to the
They
Bahamas.
seem to ebb and
yeah, exactly.
I want a trip to the Bahamas. I won this election.
Crime Lord Anthony Byers and his gang arrive to confront Meteor Man.
With cars from every period in time.
Right.
He shows up in like a stuffed bear cat or a silver shadow.
Something. Oh, God,
like he's ZZ Top.
Then suddenly the Bloods and Crips burst onto the scene
and save the fucking day.
Through the semi.
They come launching through the semis, which we did. I don't think we mentioned the elaborate setup of these semis in the street to make a corner.
Yeah.
What is that?
It was this
weird, all the roofs are lined.
Set piece.
And it's literally like a piano keyboard. It's like red, blue, red, blue, red, blue.
Oh,
red,
yeah.
blue.
All the Bloods and Crips up there.
Yeah.
Which they were never not friends in this movie.
Yeah. Right. A lot of thought went into that ending. And
they were always friends. When we see them, you're right. The first time we see them, they're already teamed up.
It doesn't work.
But essentially, they are the heroes of the story.
Yeah.
They save the superhero.
Making the Bloods and the Crips the final heroes is weird.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
And Be Real says, if you ever need us again.
Yeah, you can just call us up.
Man.
It is weird. And
we'll be out there saving the city.
A lot of these things that we've brought up, that it was a commentary on the way white people and Reagan era shit, dealt with young black youths. But it is strange that he, the writer director, chose to have them be the good guys.
Yeah.
Not even like you said, we didn't see a change of heart.
No.
So they're probably still doing their blood and crip shit during the week.
They never saw the error of their ways. The only scene that even points at that.
Error.
Yeah,
they were right.
Because the Bloods and Crips are friends. They were fighting the police. He brought peace between the police and the Bloods and Crips. But the Bloods and Crips are still dealing drugs and like right.
And then the cops show up at the end as if they had coordinated it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just interesting.
It's a superhero movie where the superhero is not the hero.
Yeah. And it's
the sort of bad guys.
Yeah. And so
it was not a good day because they did have to use their AK.
So yeah, Anthony Byers is gonna leave, but before he can, they're arrested by police, who finally show up. And, where were they during all of this? There had to have been at least a few calls to 911.
Yeah. Well, they don't go to that neighborhood.
Oh.
And 911 is
well, that's a good point.
The Bloods and the Crips called them in.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah,
they're
I mean,
homies, the cops.
Again, there's some legitimate social commentary from the time, but
Right.
it's so weird all this other stuff mixed in there.
Right.
Yeah.
You what you would want to do is show that these gang members are good people who care about their community as well.
Yeah.
He did not do that. They showed up in their colors with their guns.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
At the end, Meteor Man just smiles and it fades to black.
Okay, so at the very end of the titles, there's the line, "Read the Scholastic Book."
Yeah. Yeah.
So imagine kids in 1993 going to the Scholastic Book Fair and getting the Meteor Man book.
Yeah, and they're reading about the baby lords who carry guns and shoot. Yeah.
Whoa.
Read the Scholastic Book.
The the credit music ain't nobody bad like Meteor Man.
Yes,
performed by Big Hat Ray Ray.
He got his own song.
Well, he had nothing else. I wonder if it's a fake name because we looked it up. He has no other hits or recordings that we know of.
Is that just Robert Townsend?
I wonder.
Oh my God.
Big Hat Ray Ray. I bet. Well, Big Hat Ray Ray's career ended when Pharrell debuted with his big hat.
An even bigger hat.
An even bigger hat. Ray Ray's like, fuck, it's over. Cash me out.
It was 183 pages, and it's a novelization.
Oh my God.
Based on the screenplay by Robert Townsend.
That's incredible.
Pushed by Sapphire.
Crazy.
Oh my God.
Yep,
I have no sales information on that. But you can get it in a number of libraries.
No, but like Thoreau said, yeah, it was probably at book fairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're laughing and we're joking. I know we've touched on it, not to get heavy, but like, it is kind of a bummer. We're joking that that's the novelization I have to read, and in that story, I don't feel like all the African American characters are represented very well. So I mean, just what a bummer. Yeah. You know what I mean? You didn't see yourself in movies, in movie characters. And then here's this one movie they throw at you. You're supposed to like it because there's representation. But then that's the book. You go to the book fair. And, you know,
Well, yeah,
you look at all these books, Encyclopedia Brown, that's a smart-ass white kid. Garfield,
and
who's a white guy?
Meteor Man's the bass player.
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
Token black guy, bass player.
Well, yeah.
So it's just like, what a bummer.
Yeah, that's
the book
the first black superhero on film, period.
Yeah.
And still really cool. I'll say I had a lot of fun watching this movie. I watched it again not because I wanted to nitpick it more, but because I enjoyed it the first time enough to watch it again.
There's a lot of good in this. It's just there's a lot
cringy, other than Bill Cosby. It's not like you don't feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You feel more confused than anything. Like, where did his powers go?
Yeah, exactly. And
there were moments where watching it going, this is the worst movie I've ever. Oh no. That was kind of.
It's not so
this
bad.
This is really cool.
Yeah,
that was. Oh wow, this is really bad. Like moment to moment to moment.
It was so uneven.
An intelligent person wrote this script.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It needed another pass. It needed a steadier guiding hand on the production.
Yeah. It needs to decide what tone it was going.
Yeah, delegating some of the responsibility.
New, community. Or they couldn't decide. He was everywhere.
There was a lot of stuff he wanted to get into this, obviously, and he tried to get it all in, and it did not fit together.
And directing from in front of the camera is difficult to do.
Well, and it's wacky. We talked about how there were obviously deleted scenes, but the theatrical cut is 144 minutes.
Yeah,
that's almost 2.5 hours of Meteor Man. 120. Oh, no. Sorry, I did my math wrong.
I was like, wait, what?
It felt like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Wait, 144?
It was almost 2 hours.
No, it was an hour.
It was an hour and 40 minutes.
Hour 44, not 144 minutes. An hour, 1
It
hour.
was an hour and 44. I was counting
94
the minutes.
minutes.
That's why my math was wrong.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, there was shit cut out, and it was still kind of long. So
Yeah.
it's like,
No,
who knows how he really tried to tell the story? Who
Right.
knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, folks. I'm not that big.
It could have been a little bit longer. It could have had 10 minutes more
I was
content. It
still
wouldn't have
wrong.
been too long, I think. But yeah.
It was a confusing movie.
Yeah.
It was just really confusing.
It was fun seeing a bunch of faces that we recognized, though, and just
Like I
pointing
said-
out Bismarcky and
Oh yeah, Luther
Cypress Hill.
Vandross, just
Luther
mad dogging,
Vandross.
not saying
Oh
anything.
yeah. It would be really interesting to hear what African American kids, like
Thought at the
10-year-olds
At the time, yeah.
that were 10-year-old in 1993, what what they thought of this film at the time.
Like I said earlier, I can easily understand how people thought they might have been making history, kind of. You know what I mean? Like,
of course, I want to be involved with this project.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was MGM all the way through, so I'm sure they had notes that were aggravating.
Oh, I'm sure there were a lot of studio notes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's the
Meteor Man. Or Meteorite.
We got to put this on the list, guys. It's time to rank it. So I'm thinking we start somewhere. I'm thinking not the bottom, but somewhere in the bottom third, maybe here. We got 24, so from like 18 down. At number 18, we got Condor Man.
You know what? It reminds me a lot of Hero at Large.
Right above Condor Man is Hero at Large.
I want to stick it in between those.
What's above Hero at Large?
Turtles 3.
It made me laugh more than Condor Man.
I
guess it made me laugh more than
Turtles
Hero
3.
At Large.
Too.
Oh, yeah, Turtles at 3, there was no humor.
Yeah.
Those were dark days.
Yeah.
Above Turtles 3 is Superman and the Mole Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. I mean, it's better than Superman and the Mole Man, only in so much as they had 30 years of filmmaking to like figure stuff out.
Yeah, and the jokes that work.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a better movie than Superman and the Mole Man. Even.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'd give it that.
How about Turtles 2?
I think Turtles 2.
I think it's better than Turtles 3.
Yeah,
I think it's better.
Yeah,
is it better than Supergirl?
Uh-oh.
I don't know if I think it's better than Supergirl.
I don't know if I do either.
For all its problems, Supergirl I feel had a much steadier, more consistent pace, more consistent storytelling. Like,
I tried to explain itself better.
Yeah.
The things
Supergirl
I like
was
about
really
Supergirl.
wacky, though. Yeah.
Peter O'Toole.
Well, this was pretty wacky.
This is pretty wacky.
But not as wacky as it could have been.
Yeah.
No, not as wacky as it could have been.
They were pulling that back, which was weird.
It was almost a parody, but then it wasn't.
I could go above or below Supergirl either way, you know.
Above Supergirl is Return of Swamp Thing.
Oh man, we don't want to touch
definitely
Swamp
don't
Thing,
think
man.
it's
That's
better.
No, it's not better.
Return of the Swamp Thing?
I don't think it's better than Return of Swamp
No,
Thing.
I love Return of Swamp
I personally don't think
That's
it's better
so
than
funny.
Supergirl. I could be persuaded
I could
either.
put it,
So what?
below
Right above
Supergirl.
the moment?
Above,
Above Turtles 2.
Above
Turtles
Turtles 2. Between Turtles 2 and Supergirl.
Yeah, great. Yep.
That works for me.
Yep.
All right, the Meteor Man going at number 14
Prepare the papers
on our big list. I'll
Get the big stamp.
Yeah, I'll get the big stamp. I'll unlock the vault. There we go. The Meteor Man is at number 14 on our list of. Now we're at 25. We've done 25 of these things.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a thing. Yeah,
That's a number.
And next week, number 26, The Crow. Starring. Hey, we talked about Bruce Lee this time. He'll come up again.
Crow.
a boy and his crow. That's next week. So for this week, I have been Throw Smiley playing that Hindindu.
I'm Josh Cece, and I make tiny best man suits.
I'm Brian Lesh. Stay chilly. Peace. I'm out.
I'm Alaric Weber. Maybe I'll go to the Bahamas. Yeah, that's it.
Thanks, everybody. Bye. Harmless Phosphorescence was brought to you by executive producer Atticus Burkett, producers Michael Beckwith, Jojo Birchtree, Hedda Paulson, Kirsten Reed and Alyssa Dent, and Katie and Finn Thorpe. Make sure to rate and review us on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Harmless Phosphorescence is a part of the Harmless Entertainment Network. Become a patron at patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. Thank you for listening.